Yeah, I was watching this. This video just popped up on my feed on Instagram on my reels.
The algorithm.
Yeah, and it was some like
Don't
music.
forget to cheers.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true.
God, these
might
already
forget that.
smell so good.
Yeah,
They
strawberry.
smell so intoxicating.
This episode is brought to you by.
Cut water. Cut straight to the chase and drink a cut water.
I feel like I thought of one before and I just forgot. I needed to start writing them down.
You definitely
It
had
was pretty clever.
a really good one for the teas, twisted teas.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Sip one, love.
Crack one, sip one, love one.
Crack one, sip one, love one. That one's great. That one's insane.
But I feel like you can use that for like any, like,
For
you
sure,
know,
for sure.
cut water. Crack
Yeah,
one, sip one, love one. So
yeah.
it's like once you use it,
Yeah.
like that's who you're using. You're using it for. you know?
Twisted teas just feels right though.
It does.
I feel like their brand, their like marketing style, just the look of it.
It's very laid back. It's just like, hey, just crack one open and enjoy it. You know?
It lends itself to that vibe, I think, for sure. But anyways, you're watching an Instagram reel about what?
Oh, it was like some music production like convention or something,
Mm-hmm.
and this dude hooked up, like, made some music production device to where you can use a microphone to beatbox into it, and you can set up your sounds, and depending on like if I go like that, like a kick, and it'll be like an actual kick drum that you bring in
here, it's like a
Yeah.
trigger. Cool.
Yeah, and then you can like go. And like a hi-hat,
Yeah.
like an actual hi-hat, right?
Yeah.
And like you can like whatever
Yeah.
like sound you make that's tailored to that like drum clap
sound.
or
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it'll make that sound.
That's
And
pretty
so,
cool.
Like some dude was sitting there like figuring it out, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I think I got it." And then he started just like making beats. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. That's
like
awesome.
that's game changing
Yeah.
because like that's how Timbaland got into making beats because I think it was Missy Elliott who discovered him. And he was just like beatbox. I could be fucking wrong. I think it's Missy Elliott though. I'm pretty sure it's Missy.
Don't quote him on it.
But like he didn't really know much about like producing music, but he could beatbox really well. And she was like, "Yeah, just
do that.
just do that."
Yeah.
But then like just make your beat, and that's how he like makes his beats. Is
Cool.
he like comes up with it, and he's just like,
whatever, yeah.
he's just like, "Yeah, why is this falling down?
Even
We're
if
going
the sky
down.
Is falling
I'm yelling
down.
timber. You better move.
You better dance. Why does that kind of like lend itself to like a country remix though?
You better dance. I think
you better dance.
Yeah, like you can just say dance. Like
Even the
that.
timber part.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're yelling timber.
Whose song is that?
I don't even know.
Is that
It's probably like a few artists together on one, I think.
is Pitbull on that song, or am I freaking
I feel like if I'm remembering correctly, yes.
dude? Pitbull is like
Maybe it just really sounds like it can be a
what,
Pitbull.
dude. What is even the name of that song?
Timber. Probably.
I'm just gonna type in "you better."
You better dance.
move. You better Timber by Pitbull.
Yeah.
Nice. Hell
Oh, it is.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. Beautiful.
Dude, Mr. 305.
Mr.
bro.
305,
Featuring Kesha. That's who
Mr.
that is.
Worldwide.
God, dude, he's an undeniable one.
A goat.
I mean, yeah, you can't he had radio hits at a time when like radio hits was like that was the thing.
Still mattered.
You know?
Yeah.
And like you cannot put on like K-Don or like 106.5 without like there's 102.5 and 106.5. You couldn't put either of those stations on without
hearing
hearing
Pitbull, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in like the
That's
early
fucking
2000s
nice.
for sure.
God damn it.
One of the greatest bald artists to ever live.
Truthfully, man, like I don't think there's any bald artist better.
I'm sure
There probably is.
there is,
If
but-
I like sit and think about it. like,
yeah, but for now,
But for now,
he gets it.
He is the
he gets it.
But yeah, guys, if you are tuning in for this first time and you don't know what the fuck this is and who the fuck we are,
Too bad. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. But I'll just introduce us right now. This is Too High for TV, where two guys get too high and talk about a little bit too much TV.
Just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit.
Just
you
a
know.
tiny bit.
It's and you know, if you're new here, you are the one who's supposed to come to that conclusion, right?
Yeah, it's up to
We're
you.
just here talking about it, and you are the one as the audience member who has to decide, like, damn, these guys are talking about this shit way too much.
Yeah, for us, it's like practically never enough.
It's just a normal day. It's just another Sunday out
yeah,
here.
I feel like we cut the episodes off, and there's probably still a whole nother episode in there if we really wanted to.
I mean, we keep talking after the episodes
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
Like, we're just like, oh, fuck, hey, did
Yeah.
you see this?
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But
So you decide. You decide.
you guys decide.
You let us
You
know.
decide, eh? You guys decide.
We'll keep talking. You let us know, and then we'll probably like ignore it for the most part and just keep talking as much as we do anyway.
Exactly.
Because
We'll
we
just be
have fun.
We'll
We
just
like
be doing
it.
stuff out here.
We like it. Ooh, I like this.
Yeah, I was taking
Nice.
notes. Because there was like a bunch of new stuff that happened like within the past like couple weeks, and I was like, okay, I need to write these
Get an
down
idea, yeah.
because these are good points to just talk about. You
Yeah,
know?
most
And
definitely.
then we are talking about Indiana Jones today.
Yep.
And I was like, let me take some Indiana Jones notes because I've only seen it the one time, and I'm like, while
Me
this is
too.
fresh in my mind, like let me write stuff down that so I can remember
Nice.
because I forget a lot.
I do too.
I
do too.
smoke a lot of weed and I forget a lot of stuff.
Some stuff goes in and then it goes right back out.
Yeah.
It's just
In
the name
one
of the
ear
game.
and out the other.
For those of you who are alien listening audiences, you'll know exactly what Ryan is saying right now.
But yeah, we appeal to all audiences out here, guys.
Yeah,
You don't-
intergalactic and all.
Exactly. Yeah. That needs to be like on an episode of Rick and Morty. Like, you know how they have like the multiversal like TV?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There needs to be like a multiversal like radio network.
It's like music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Hey Morty, we're gonna just turn on the multiversal radio right there.
Okay, Rick. Yeah, sure.
Okay, Rick. Are you sure you want me to plug this in? Like,
What do you think's gonna happen?
normally when you have me do things and I don't know what I'm doing, like it goes bad, Rick. Morty, stop being a bitch. Just plug it in. God damn it. And then they put it on, and then you hear like a multiversal pit bull come on.
Yeah. It's like blah blah blah. Mr. Intergalactic.
He's like Mr. 61675.
Yeah. Mr. Universe P165.
The pit bull universe,
The pit bull
where
universe.
there's just all pit bulls.
P165.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like it.
That's why Pitbull's not really around anymore because the Intergalactic Council of Pitbulls picked him up. He made the cut, so he had to move
Dude,
on.
these cut waters get down.
They really do. I felt it in my tummy right away.
And it's funny how like there's like 12% ones. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, these are 10%ers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice, comfortable.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Me and Ev were having a conversation about this the other day. It's like, it really depends on the setting, right? Because like, in the movies, for instance, right? I think I'm starting to prefer these a little more.
Yeah.
Because more often than not, when you go to the movies and you buy a drink, it's probably like a 5%er.
Yeah.
And by the time I finish one of those, I'm
want
usually
another
like,
one.
I'm usually like, damn, I wish I had one more. So having something like this, or even like a 12%er, is great because then you just have the one drink for the whole movie. You get as lit as you wanted to be in the first place.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to pace yourself, I don't know, because you have two of these in a row and you're at like 4 beers.
You have one. You have one of those. You're already.
Yeah.
You're already 2.5.
Feeling
beers in.
loose. Yeah, feeling
like,
good.
At 2.5 beers, like I'm like, all right, like
Let's party.
yeah, you're like you said, I'm feeling loose. Like,
Yeah, having a good
I'm
time.
ready to dance.
You
If
can
there's
get me on the dance
karaoke,
floor.
Exactly.
Yeah, karaoke too. Yeah,
Oh
I'm willing to do the things I usually wouldn't do while sober.
Oh yeah.
Buy
1000%.
a 2.5 beers.
But yeah, that's honestly like you shouldn't have a 12% of alcohol in a like what is this, like a 12-ounce
Can.
can?
You know, I could see that. I could get behind that. 355 milliliters is what I'm seeing. I don't know what that translates to in ounces.
Yeah,
but
all you freaking mathematicians out there, tell us what that is.
What is 355 milliliters
I like
in
how we have Google
liquid
right
ounces?
here. I don't want to look that up though, because I'm lazy.
Yeah, don't let the algorithm know you don't know math.
Exactly. But yeah, these
They're tasty.
these are nice, man.
They
And
are
they're
good.
They're not too expensive, which I like. They taste good.
I appreciate like
Checks all the boxes for me.
as nice as it is to have a drink that is straight up juice. I think I still prefer to taste the alcohol a little bit, just because.
I'm a pussy, so no.
No, it's honestly it's because like I will say I do prefer like tastier stuff, even if it is beers or whatever, like mixed drinks like this. But like having nothing in it is just dangerous because like yeah, I feel the like drunk or buzzedness starting to take over as I drink them. But there's like a certain kick that tells you to slow down when you taste
Yeah,
alcohol.
that's
So like
true.
when I have a little bit in there, I'm like, ooh, okay, this is hitting me.
I know what I'm drinking.
Yeah,
right here. Yeah,
exactly.
that's true. I like it. But I don't know. I just don't like the fucking taste of alcohol, which if you guys go and watch last week's episode, which is uploaded on YouTube right now,
Boom.
you can go to Too High for TV on YouTube. That's TOOHIGH for TV, motherfuckers, not FOR, not FOUR, not FORE. The number. The fucking number. The numbers, Mason.
The numbers, man. Some Black Ops.
Yeah. I love that shit. dude.
Reznov.
But yeah, if you guys go watch that episode, there is a point in that episode where our guest Jacob brought some. What is that? What was that?
It was gin.
Gin.
Gin. Yeah.
Was it like a specific type of gin?
It was a different type of gin from what he was explaining to me, but that like floral kind of thing that you were getting, that hint of like almost like flower petal alcohol, is I think a ginny thing.
That was fucking disgusting.
You don't like it?
That was gross. No.
I would if you don't like the alcohol by itself, like that's one thing, but I would say you might like some
Gin and juice?
Yeah, gin and juice. I like gin and tonics. I think those are pretty good. There's a few gin drinks. My sister can actually make gin drinks pretty good. There's like this fancy purple one called Empress Gin. Ooh. And she knows how to make some pretty fire drinks out of those.
There's just, I don't know, there's just something about gas and flowers that don't mix for me.
For sure.
At least,
unless it's weed.
Yeah.
Because you want gas flower.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I'm just kidding.
But like,
no, I get it.
But like that florally, like I literally just took a bite. Like I went out to the garden and found like all the flowers, ripped them out, and then just bit all of them together. Like that's what it tasted like.
No, it is wild for sure.
And then like I also like just freaking went to the gas station, put my card in, pressed 69, and then freaking chuck some. Like that was fucking gross. And if you guys go watch it back. My face.
You see the reaction.
Says it all. So I was not down for that. But yeah, I definitely like more of a fruity drink kind of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like them too.
I like it, dude.
I remember like a long time ago, back when Bree was still around, our old manager Bree. I told her that I liked gin. Shout out to you, Bree. I hope you're doing well wherever you are.
Yes,
I told her, and she was like, "What are you, an old man?" And I was like, "What?"
That is some old man shit.
Yeah, gin is like an old man drink, I guess.
Like a gin and tonic sounds like
good.
It sounds like you just got invited to like some kind of gala type thing.
Sure.
And you're
I'll have a gin and tonic.
And you're like 53.
Yeah.
You know?
Have a gin and tonic, please. Yeah.
That's
no, I get it. It's just good. I don't know what to say. I like it. I think it's tasty.
To each their own is what I always say.
I found that I like a lot of different types of drinks because like I'll get down with the gin and tonic. Whiskey on its own I'm not a super big fan of, but I love a whiskey sour. I think a whiskey sour is really good. It's not my favorite, but I'm willing to do like a Jack and Coke, or even better like a Jack and Dr. Pepper.
I feel like that's such like a Jack and Coke is like if you are an experienced drinker and you like really just like Jack Daniels and you're just like, yeah, cool, I just want that. Or it's the drink for if you're just a new drinker and you don't know what the fuck to get.
Give me a Jack and
Coke. A Jack and Coke.
It's easy to order
because that's what I see on everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So those are like my like specialties. You can give me any drink with tequila in it, and I'm down.
Oh yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Make it a Paloma. Give me what else is there?
Margarita.
There you go. Margaritas are always good. I kind of like. I don't need it to taste so much like anything because I do like tequila on its own. So even if you mix me like a really strong drink, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, tequila I'm down for. Vodka drinks I'm down for. I just
do like vodka.
I can't do too much vodka because sometimes I just get too warm.
Too warm? Okay, yeah. I feel it. Yeah.
Like there was one time we went. Me and F went golfing. It was like one of the first times we like started to go out golfing. And, we weren't playing fast because as inexperienced golfers, you're not going to play fast.
Sure.
And, that's okay. Don't let the motherfuckers behind you speed you up. You just play at your pace.
Take your time,
pace of play. That's what it's at, And so we were playing, and, like, these dudes who are way better golfers than us were just like, hey, man, can we play through? And we're like, yeah, go ahead. We were just standing there, and this one dude, we were smoking too. And we kind of, like, I tried to hide it because I didn't want to go out there and be like, oh, this is my first time golfing. I'm just gonna start fucking smoking. You gotta work your way into that. You gotta feel it out. You gotta test the waters. You're not gonna just jump all the way in. You gotta stick your big toe in first.
Sure.
So I was there, and then they're like, one of the dudes was like, hey, like I don't smoke, but this guy smokes right here. I'm like, is it cool if he hits it? And the dude's like, yeah, is it cool if I hit? I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't give a fuck. Like, cool. There you go. And he was like, yeah, I don't have anything to like give you guys, but I have this vodka right here. You want to take a shot? And I was like, okay, fuck it.
Yeah.
So I took a shot, and it instantly just got so warm. Yeah. And like it was just like
vodka is good. I do like vodka too. I actually forgot about that one. Papa Jake is the one who got me to like vodka, honestly, because I'm not sure if you remember, but Jake is a bit of a vodka guy.
Yeah, he is very
Loves
much
this
a vodka
guy. Vodka.
Mm-hmm. My dad fucks with, what really got me into vodka was my dad likes Moscow Mules a lot.
Yeah, those are good too.
And I remember drinking one time, and he like is the guy to make those.
Yeah,
and my mom too. My mom makes.
They get down on some Moscow Mules.
My parents just know how to make stuff. I don't
Nice.
know what the fuck. Or maybe that's just like with all parents, right? I feel like your parents just know how to like. Oh my god, my parents cooking is awesome.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's just that they're more experienced.
Yeah.
Like, even if we start now to try and catch up, we probably won't be as good as at making those things, drinks, food, whatever it is, until we get a little older.
But yeah,
they've been doing it for years.
Yeah, I was kicking it with my dad one time, and he was like, "Oh, you want a Moscow Mule?" And I was like, "Ah, fuck it. Let me, you know, it's I don't know what the ingredients are, but I know there's mint in there too.
Yeah, it's good.
But when you put the mint in there, it's like that. Just like that ties it all together because it tastes refreshing.
It does.
Like it's so crazy to say like an alcoholic beverage is refreshing.
But that one is though for sure.
Like very much so.
Yeah.
And yeah. I fuck with anything tequila I'm down for. Anything with I don't want to say anything with vodka because I'm very limited on my drinks that have vodka that I know about. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So like if it's a Moscow Mule, I'm pretty down.
What about isn't a screwdriver vodka? Isn't that orange juice and vodka?
Is that not tequila?
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
What's in
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Let us know, Google.
Let us know.
What's in a screwdriver? What is in a
screwdriver
cocktail? They'll start telling me what's in a. Just tell me what the vodka and orange juice.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'm down
with those. Those are good.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I'm down with that for sure. I mean, anything with orange juice, I'm down with.
It's good.
Orange juice is just bomb.
I'm not like a big fan of like bubbly alcohol.
Like champagne.
Yeah, like champagne. Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna say Chardonnay, but I don't think that's right. But I do like mimosas a lot. Dude, mimosas are fire.
So good.
Mimosas are super good.
Like, and mimosas are made for the perfect time of day. Like that brunch. Sort of like that 10:30 to like 11:30 time. You know, like. Oh my gosh.
It's just like you got up early, you had an early morning, but you don't really have too much to do with the rest of your day. So it's like, fuck it, let's go party right now.
Yeah, you're rewarding yourself for, just hanging out.
Yep.
Like, mimosas are so fucking good.
Yeah, they're good.
There's a place in San Jose, I forget what it's called, but they serve like big ass fucking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Giant ones, bottomless mimosas and shit or what?
Like, yeah, they're like big ass mimosas where there's like a big ass straw that you got to drink it from.
Nice.
And I fuck with the good straw. Like, I'm a sucker for a good straw, bro. Like, I'm a sucker for a good pen and I'm a sucker for a good straw. Like, those things go hand in hand in my opinion.
They really do. I feel it. You got to have your utensils, regardless of what category they're a part of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Did you know my Friday last week was pretty fucking, not gnarly, but
gnarly though,
dude.
Pretty hefty.
Not like it was just like I got to, Fridays are Fridays, the end of the week.
It was inventory night though, right?
Not this Friday, but the Friday before.
Okay.
So the Friday before. It's just a long week. It's Friday. You're ready for it. It's like, all right, there's gonna be a bunch of shit. Got to do the shit, but I'm gonna be off. So as soon as I got in, it was just like boom. Big ass orders there. There was a big ass order there before, so you're just like, fuck. You're just thrown into the fire.
Yeah,
right
100%. Yeah, you
and
walk into the chaos.
Exactly. That's just kind of what the day was like. It was just an order. Boom. Got to go out and do some shit. Come back. There's a fucking another order, and I was excited for this Friday because my mom had made spaghetti, and I was like, fuck, I get to bring spaghetti to work.
Hell yeah.
So I brought some spaghetti, and I was like, I am fucking ready for this shit. I was thinking about that shit all day. As soon as it hit 2:30 and that could be my lunch, I was like, hey, yo, I'm going on lunch.
You're going to munch this spaghetti.
Exactly. So I take the spaghetti, go in the back, and I warm it up. And it was beautiful. I sat in my car for a little bit, let it cool down, and, just watching some shit on YouTube. And I'm like, all right, let's get into these noodles and meatballs right now in the sauce because this shit's going to be fire. So I grab it, right? And I take the first bite, and I'm like, ooh, this is good. But the bottom was still a little hot, so I was like, oh, I need to get something to put underneath here to protect my hand and then protect my lap. So I have it in my hand, and I'm like going to grab like a sweater, like a shirt, and I fucking reach over and I tilt over too far, and spaghetti's a slippery motherfucker, guys.
No.
Like, that shit's slippery. That shit slipped out and fell on my fucking lap, bro.
Damn.
And I was so sad, bro. I was fucking pissed, bro. I was like, no, and just sat there with hot ass noodles and sauce, and I was like, fuck. And I like picked it up and like put it back in the bowl, and I was like, damn it. So I fucking grabbed napkins, and I was like, fucking just like trying to take that shit off. I had water and I like put water on like a shirt that I had. Luckily I had another shirt in the car, so I took off the shirt that I was wearing, put that other shirt on, and then fucking poured water on the shirt that I just took off and just started like fucking trying to wipe as much as I could. Dude. And they were new pants too. I just got these fucking pants. I got them I think the week or two before, because I remember I came on here and said Efren started quinceañera, went to the quinceañera, had to get a fit for the quinceañera, obviously, and those pants were nice, and they were fucking Levi pants, so you know those motherfuckers were expensive. So sad, bro. I was fucking pissed. And the funniest thing too was I'm sitting there and I'm like, damn, bro, I'm just gonna smell like spaghetti. Yeah, some straight red sauce. So I go in and I don't really say anything. I said it to Ev. I was like, damn, dude, I spilled my fucking spaghetti. But I didn't really announce it to everybody else because I'm not trying to announce that, hey, guys, I spilled my lunch on myself. Oh, shoot. Yeah. But, oh, shucks. So I'm kind of just trying to slyly, like, move myself around the inventory room, like, not trying to make eye contact with people, not trying to spend too much time next to one person so they don't get a whiff of, spaghetti smell. Exactly. And so I'm there. And the funny thing is they had just ordered pizza probably, like, 15 minutes prior to that happening. Nice. And I walk past the office door and I stand like kind of like in the furthest corner away from everybody, and I get the laptop out and I'm like looking for stuff to do, right? And Cindy walks out. And Cindy's a cook. She has her own catering business. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, dude, if anyone's gonna smell this shit, it's gonna be Cindy. Right? And I'm standing there like not trying to say anything, like again, not trying to look at her, but she walks out and she's like and she starts sniffing. Her nose starts going to work. I'm like, fuck, dude. God damn it. Cindy's going to say something. Yeah. And she's like, did the pizza get here already? Like, it smells like pizza back here. And I'm like, oh, okay, don't say anything. Don't say anything. I'm still trying to be like, I don't know what's going on. Like, yeah, well, the pizza get here, guys? I don't know. Pizza, Yeah, And she's like, that's so weird. Like, I literally just ordered it not too long ago. Like, that was really fast. And I was like, all right, I spilled spaghetti on myself, okay? Like, I was in my car, I was eating, and one thing led to another. Spaghetti was slippery.
It gets me, okay?
And like, I smell like sauce.
Are you happy?
Yeah, my fucking face turned hella red. I already know. And I was just like, God damn it. And Cindy's like, well, you smell good. Like, Cindy's great.
She knows how to turn it around.
Exactly. Nice. But I was like, fuck, dude. Like, no, I just smell like spaghetti, bro. And to top it all off, I washed my pants, and there's still a big-ass fucking
spaghetti stain. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, so...
Son of a bitch.
That was a fucking day, dude. That was a fucking day.
Sounds like a lot of shenanigans. Yeah. Shenanigan-filled day, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm definitely not ready to shenanigan.
Shenanigan. Can we not shenanigan for a while?
But yeah, I was sad, dude, because like I spilled spaghetti. I didn't even get to eat that much of it, and I fucking spilled it.
Yeah, that's a bummer. That's honestly like the worst bummer of it all. It's like, fuck, you're looking forward to that food all day, and then you have to just like, you can't eat it. Dude. Can't eat it in peace. Bullshit. A moment of silence for both Ryan's new pants and that bowl of spaghetti.
God damn it.
Son of a bitch.
God damn. Yeah, that was, luckily it was Friday. If it was like a fucking Monday, I'd be like, fucking Mondays, bro.
At least that's how you end your week, right? You get to go home and chill for the weekend after that.
Exactly. Fuck, dude.
I get it.
And Levi pants are expensive, bro.
They really are. Dude. That's a bummer.
It was a buy one get one, like half off that day.
And you didn't get the other one.
I didn't. I should have, bro, because I just needed a pair of pants, right? And I'm just like, I just need a single pair of pants. Like,
you're not in the right mindset.
I'm not hurting it's like extra credit, right? I'm not hurting myself if I don't get the extra pair of pants.
Yeah, no, you're
right?
Good. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, in hindsight, when there's deals at Levi's, I feel like you should pretty much always take them. I know. Like those pants are. Because the thing is it's like, yeah, Levi's are expensive. That is a for sure fact that nobody can deny. But they're really good fucking pants.
Yeah, I just kind of didn't need any other ones though. I already have a gray pair of pants, and I was just getting another one just because the other ones are like kind of like cargo work-ish pants, and I'm like, I'm not gonna wear cargo pants to a quinceañera.
Yeah,
like I gotta have some
gray pants,
some gray like actual nice pants. So I got those. I already have black pants. I have like a couple pair of black pants. I already have khaki. I already have green. I already have just regular jeans. So I was like, fuck, I don't know what else I'm gonna.
What do you need?
Add, you know.
You stock up. You get something for the backlog.
What am I gonna do? Acid wash jeans? Like, am I gonna?
Yeah, dude.
I don't think I want acid wash.
You just get one for the backlog, bro. You buy one that you already have, and then when those other ones wear out their welcome, you're ready to go.
One to rock and one to stock. I know it's
one to stock.
It's simple, like sneaker, like
mentality
etiquette that is easily applicable to other articles of clothing,
especially
but
pants.
You just don't think about it.
No, yeah, especially pants, because I feel like pants are one of the more like longer lasting articles of clothing. You know, you can get shirts
and I gotta get a new pair of fucking blue pants because the other one has a fucking rip right where my balls are.
See, there you go.
And I noticed it fucking yesterday. I'm sitting there
Damn it.
in the fucking service that's happening, and I'm like, fuck, there's a fucking hole right here.
Ball hole.
And I'm sitting next to my sister. I'm like, fuck, did I even know there's a fucking hole right here? Yeah. Luckily, I don't wear like
bright ass underwear.
Yeah, bright ass underwear. Yeah. Like
you're subtle.
I'm a very Fruit of the Looms champion Hanes guy. Nice. You know, like those are very interchangeable.
I'm the same way. Yeah,
in my opinion.
I will if I get gifted like a pair of nice chones that are different. Like, yeah, I'll wear them from time to time. But if I'm ever buying stuff for myself, be it underwear, socks, shirts, like undershirts and stuff like that, I'm just a plain guy.
Yeah.
Give me the bargain deal, man.
I do remember a time being like, oh, fuck, there's hot dogs on these boxers, bro.
This is so cool. No, yeah, for sure. I think like probably when I was in high school, any article of clothing, like especially socks too, I remember I would be give me some cool socks. And like, not that I'm not down for some cool socks every once in a while, but I am of the opinion that you bust out a cool sock every once in a every once in a while, like I said, you know, like if you're wearing cool socks all the time, that's cool. If that's your thing, do your thing, right? But like for me personally, I'm going to run out of cool socks after a while, and I'm going to end up in some regular old white socks.
Yeah.
So let me just have like a few pairs that I'll sparse out like every now and then.
As you get older, you appreciate the simplicity of stuff, you know? You realize like, fuck, dude, I don't like...
These are good socks.
Yeah.
These
like
are good underwear.
I'm a big like Goodwill Salvation Army guy. Like I'm not like... I used to be like, fuck, dude, let's go to Zoomies, let's go to this, let's go to that.
Yeah.
But like, you know, as you get older, you're like, damn, fucking $50 for a shirt.
That's really expensive.
It's really fucking crazy. Yeah. It's really fucking crazy. When I could just go to fucking Goodwill and just find a fucking shirt.
Yeah, Ev always gets mad at me when we go shopping because, like, I will admit it. I like to call it frugal. Others would say I'm cheap. And that is, you know, honestly, not an inaccurate representation of myself. So, like, I had to go, it was my grandpa's 90th last weekend. That was when I got super lit. Super lit. I got fucked up. I had to push the podcast back a day because I got so much so lit from that one.
I think I saw you had the fucking cowboy hat on.
Yeah, that was all. Most of the ensemble I had to buy. So I took a trip to Boot Barn because I'm like, okay, where else am I gonna find good like cowboy shit, or whatever? Absolutely fucking appalled at the prices,
dude.
Of everything
crazy.
There,
shit's
everything.
Crazy.
I found nothing for less than like $35, and that was like belt buckles, bro. Like that was the cheapest thing you could find there, but. It's whatever. It's fine. I got a good shirt there, and luckily there's like plenty of what they have like a TJ Maxx. They also have a Ross now in Hollister. So I was like, fuck it. Those are like good cheap places. You don't always find exactly what you need, but if they have it there, you're gonna get it for a good price. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, fuck it. So I went, found the pair of pants that I needed. Also found a couple extra pair of pants too. So I was like, fuck it. I might as well grab them. The hat was borrowed. And honestly, I was not gonna, as much as I love my family over there was like it wasn't like heavily enforced, but there was like an implied dress code that we were all gonna be in like vaquero gear.
Yeah.
They wanted us to go even further. All the tias wanted all of the boys to match and all of the girls to match.
Sheesh.
Yeah, we didn't do that, but we got close. Generally, it was like black shirt, whatever jeans you want, and then like wear a hat and you'll be good.
Yeah.
So I wasn't gonna get boots. Because boots are fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Like, it was like...
And how often are you going to wear the boots?
Never. That's the thing, is it's like, I was like, this is like a one-time thing. I'm probably never going to wear these boots again unless there's like another themed party like this where I need to dress up like cowboy style or whatever, right? And so, it was whatever. It was what it is. But I will say, I did have a really good time. I had a ton of fun. I definitely... got lit that night, but it was a classic Aceves party. You know, you spend like the first few hours like sipping on some beers, catching up with your cousins and stuff like that. Make sure you get loaded up, get your tummy ready for the rest of the night. And what happened for sure was that there was like, at least for me, what happened to me was that like there was too many waves of incoming people that you want to drink with.
Oh yeah.
So like we had like a hard start time. I think of like, it was either like 5 or 6 o'clock. I can't remember. But we were like, this hour hits, we're good. We're going to start drinking. Like, that way most of us can maybe at least make it till like 12, 1 o'clock. If we like go ham or whatever, we'll have like a cool like 5 or 6 hours to like hang out.
Mm-hmm.
So we started, got down, everybody took a shot together to kick off the event, right? And then, yeah. And then you grab a beer or you grab like a Truly or White Claw or whatever in between to like sip, right? So you're doing your thing. And then, I went up I like maybe like 30 to 40 minutes after that, I went up to the ranch with my cousin Joanna. She needed like a sweater. So she was like, you want to come with me? And I was like, cool, let's go. So we walked up there, fucking ran into another group of people who was like, hey, we're taking a shot over here by the truck. Do you want to join? And I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. So we do that, right? Take a shot, you go. Finish a drink, get another one, have it in my hand, and I'm sipping on that. Come back down, a family friend, her name is Natalie, and her like sister in the group shows up or whatever. We love her. She's like basically family. Fucking shows up. She's like, you ready for a shot? And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do it. Fuck it. So another fucking shot, right? You're still nursing your drink or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then the music starts.
Yep.
They got a DJ, so they're bumping it. We have a whole fucking dance floor right there and everything. Everybody's out there getting down and whatnot. And at that point, it's just like chaos. Like every once in a while, someone just comes up to you and it's like, hey, you want to take a shot? And you're like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. So I was like, let's do it. Why not? So I think by the end of the night, I think I had like, not like an outrageous amount, but within like a 4 to 5 hour span, I had about like 5 or 6 shots in me. Mm-hmm. And I was drinking beers in between all that stuff too. And like White Claws and Trulies or whatever it was. So at a certain point, I had to use the bathroom. Went inside, bathroom was locked up. They had porta potties. Went to the porta potty, that was locked up. So I was like, okay, fuck it. But we used to do this all the time as a kid. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go into the ranch, take a piss really quick. It's not a big deal. So I went, did my thing. I'm walking back. And the problem with being really drunk and not having any music around you is that like all of a sudden the drunkenness becomes real.
Yeah.
When you're on the dance floor and you're fucked up,
it's cool.
You're cool. You're sweating, you're moving, you're grooving, like you're good, you're chilling. It's not a big deal. But then as soon as you just have a moment to yourself and it's silence, it's like all washes over you and you're like, oh, damn, I'm a little fucked up right now. So that happened to me.
Especially after you pee, because you gotta like stand there still.
Yeah, and you're just like, you start to feel the wobble, and you're like, oh, okay, this is happening. This is happening. So I'm lit. I realize it. It washes over me, and I'm starting to walk back, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna chill for a little bit. I'm gonna hang out up here for a minute. Like I've played here my entire life. I know I'll be fine. Like it's cool. My cousin Christian lives out there on the ranch with my grandpa. He has a little room. And right outside, there's some hay bales. So I'm like, you know, fuck it. I'm just going to chill out on these hay bales really quick. Pop a squat, sit down. I'm hanging out, take my hat off, put it over my eyes, and I'm just chilling, right? And then I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm leaving here. I was like, this is comfy. So I was chilling. I fucking resigned myself to that bale of hay, and I was just chilling there. I got a call from my sister, like, God knows how long it's been that I've been gone. And she's like, hey, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm in the ranch. She's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of tapped out, dude. I was like, I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty fucked up, passed out on a couple bales of hay. And she's like, oh, my God, hold on. I'll be right up. So she came up there, came to come see me really quick. I was like, hey, what's up, dude? And she's like, what's up? You good? And I was like, honestly, yeah. Like, hadn't thrown up yet. Like, once I sat down, I felt pretty fine. Like, wasn't even feeling, like, too fucked up after I'd sat down. So I was comfy, you know? I was chilling. So she comes, she's like, okay. She's like, whatever. Like, no worries. So I was like, she was like, let me at least take you to my car, though. Because we had drove over there together. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, maybe I shouldn't be, like, passed out on, like, in the middle of the fucking ranch or whatever. And so she was like,
I don't see anything wrong with being passed out on the bale of hay.
No, it wasn't that. It was more that, like, you know, I didn't want to freak anybody out. Because, like, already once, if I remember correctly, I don't even know who. Somebody had walked up and, like, had a flashlight and, like, shined it. And I saw, like, a jump really quick. Because it's just, like, this, like, lifeless-looking body, like, passed out on this fucking thing or whatever in the dark. And there's no light out there, right? It was, like, purely dark. So she took me back to her car. I passed out in there. And then, like, again, I don't know how much time had passed. I think we made it home by, like, 12:30 or 1 o'clock. So, like, I don't think I was gone for more than, like, maybe, like, an hour or so. Like, overall, from when I went up to pee to when we, like, left or whatever. But, yeah, that was the end of it. I got home. The car ride, of course, was super fast. I, like, woke up and we were back home. And I was like, all right, bitchin', that worked.
Nice.
Yeah, I got upstairs, took a shower, fucking drank some water, fucking... Next morning, woke up, felt super hungover. Not a good time. No throwing up, thankfully. That's always the worst.
Yeah.
So I slept in pretty heavy, and then as soon as I was like good to go, I just went to Windmill and just got myself like a little care package. Got myself some applesauce, some canned peaches, some fucking Pedialites.
There you go.
And I went back home and I was good to go. Just fucking chugged some of those bitches, munched out on some like tummy friendly snacks, and I was good to go. It was a good time. It was fun.
That is a good time.
Yeah,
it's
it was
always,
fun.
Yeah, that shit's always a good time, bro. But yeah, that does happen.
You do have
you
to
start
nurse
to
yourself back to
Yeah,
health sometimes.
where you're starting to drink, and then other people are like, "Oh, let's fucking
Yeah,
drink." And
dude.
it's just like when you don't have shit to do like that. When your objective that day is to party,
It's to drink. Yeah.
it's like, what else? What are you
gonna
gonna say?
do?
No.
Yeah.
Like
It's also hard too, because like it's such like I think I feel like you kind of got the vibe a little bit when like the couple times that you have like partied with us, but it's a very safe, let's get fucked up environment.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
everybody, there's
as
so
it should be, as
yeah.
every fucked up environment
Yeah.
should be. A let's get safe.
there's so many cousins that are like drinking age at this point now, you know, and like we've all been drinking for a long time, that it's just like everybody has the right and ability to go as far as you want, and at the very least one of us will take care of you.
Yeah,
Like you're gonna
exactly.
be okay, you know. So like, why not? You gotta have a good time.
Exactly. We're here
Yeah.
for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, it was super fun. Yeah,
Fuck yeah, dude.
it was cool.
That's a great time.
It was good shit.
That's a fucking great time.
Great team.
It's a fucking great.
Good to
time.
have a great time. I will say I was proud of myself because at one point, probably like around the 4th or 5th shot, it was getting close to my demise.
Mm-hmm.
I was with my cousin Jared. Shout out to you, cousin Jared, because he loves the clap thing.
Shout out to
that-
cousin
yeah.
Jared.
His girlfriend, Leanne, and like a few others were like wanted to take a shot, and she was like over there by the bottle, and she just like leaned into me and she was like, "Hey, I can't pour this." And I was like, "Oh, dude." And she's like, "You got to do it." And I was like,
You're all, neither could I.
I was like, "Fuck, okay." And I fucking pulled it off. I got all the shots poured, didn't spill a drop, and we were good to go. So I was proud of that. I was already lit, and I was still able to pour some drinks.
You just gotta line all the shot cups
Just
next to each other
straight
and just
down.
just do that.
Yeah.
Because then if you spill, it's
And
like,
it's
oh,
like,
that's a part of
oh,
it.
yeah,
Like, you know,
exactly.
like what am
I didn't
like,
miss. That's how it is.
Like,
yeah.
what am I gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
am I gonna be perfect? No,
Yeah.
I'm not a bartender. But then if you make all of it and you don't spill, it's the coolest
It's
fucking
super
thing
impressive.
ever.
Yeah, for
So it's a
sure.
win-win. You know?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Like-
I'm gonna keep that one in my back pocket.
And then like you're fucked up already, so it's like, what do they expect you not to spill?
yeah, you're gonna drop a couple. Yeah.
There's low expectations for that. You know.
I think I don't. I might be getting the number wrong, because my sister asked me the next day. She was like, "Dude, Anna, one of our tias, my tia Anna, she's like, Anna told me how many bottles of tequila we went through last night." She was like, "Guess how many?" And I started low. I was like, 10? She's like, "No." I was like, "Okay, like I don't
20.
know, like 15, 20?" She's like, "No." And I was like, 30? She's like, "No." And I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, 40? And she's like, "No." I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Yeah, it was like 34 or 35 bottles." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Son of a bitch, dude." Like, God damn. That
I like how you said 30 and she was like, no.
yeah.
And she could have just been like, close,
That's
like
close,
34.
yeah. No,
like
she
34.
wanted to yeah, she
was
wanted
like-
to suspend the drama, you know?
She was like, no, get the exact
Yeah,
right.
it's like, no, that's still not right. Yeah. It's just for the suspense, you know?
You're all 33. She's like, no.
Yeah. 34? No, it was 34 or 35.
Yeah. That's the answer we were looking for.
Yeah,
so-
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, that's not, dude. That sounds like a fucking good ass
Yeah.
time, dude.
It
That's
was wild.
like,
It was cool.
you know, that sounds like whenever like all of my family gets together, because like we're all of drinking age now.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we gonna do? Fucking like when we went to
Everyone's gonna
Arizona.
party.
Like when we went to Arizona, it
Mhm.
was like drinks, like right away.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
we're at the airport.
have a
Cool.
drink.
Let's go eat and I was like, let's get a fucking drink.
Yeah, you're already on vacation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the airplane.
Yeah.
Can I get a fucking
That's
drink?
part of the vacation. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
When we were at the wedding, the only thing that kind of sucked was when we showed up there and I was like, all right, let's get a fucking drink beforehand, you know, to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah.
You're going to watch a wedding, you know, you got to
Walk in nice and
yeah.
chill.
Couldn't get the drinks till after the fucking,
Oh,
till after the ceremony.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, dude. So you sat there through the ceremony and then as soon as the ceremony was done, they're like, oh yeah, the fucking bar's
The
open.
bars open, everybody
Boom.
swarms. Yeah.
Big ass light in
Yeah.
the bar.
I've never planned a wedding myself, so I can't speak to this in like, you know, the perfect sense or whatnot, but I can imagine holding off the drinks until after the ceremony is probably a smart idea. That's like the
But
really
it's like when your ceremony is like 20 feet away from like
the
where,
bar.
where drinks are available.
It's like, don't tease me
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, don't
No, I
tease-
get it.
yeah,
I
don't
get it. Yeah.
tease me.
I feel like as the
At
bride,
least make me drive to where
Yeah.
I have to drink.
I feel like as the bride and groom, and the rest of the wedding party who like works like that shit's a fucking show. Like, you know, like they got to rehearse that shit the night before.
Yeah,
That's how much it is.
yeah.
I feel like you don't want any alcohol involved in
No,
that
yeah,
situation.
yeah, that's true.
You don't want
That's
anybody
true.
to
It was a
fuck that
beautiful
part
wedding.
up. Yeah.
It was a beautiful wedding.
Yeah.
I had a great time. I'm just saying, like, I was just like, fuck, dude, you're teasing me like that.
Don't
I see
show
the
me
bar.
that shit.
I see
Yeah,
the bar, and
yeah.
you're telling me I can't fucking.
Yeah. Drink
know,
at the bar?
It's
What is
like,
this, a dry bar?
Yeah, it's like the fucking like the TikTok trend where like the parents put their kids in like a room with like the cookies and they're like, don't
Don't
touch
eat
them
them.
until I come back,
Yeah.
and they just like have
Of course they're going to eat the cookies.
yeah, and they just have the camera there, and the kids are like,
This is bullshit.
like what the fuck,
Yeah,
you
man,
know,
yeah.
like fuck that shit. But
Yeah.
I guess that was probably also poor planning on my part of not bringing drinks
Yeah,
beforehand.
you
that
gotta
I could
pregame.
just that I could just be like, okay, let's go to the car. Just
Yeah.
but what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
You learn for next time.
He was a great guy, but what about the murders? What murder? Sorry.
What's that from?
That meme is just like in my head.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
like I don't even know what the original video is from, but it's like I don't even know if it's like actual people or they're doing like a skit or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like a dude doing an interview and he's like he like asked these two dudes a question and this one dude's like, he was a great guy, and then the interviewer goes, but what about the murders? And the dude goes, what murders? And like you'll see it whenever like a good character like just kills like hella people.
Oh,
you know?
yeah,
It was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's just like,
What about the murders?
what murders?
Yeah, okay. All right. I like it. I like it. Good shit.
But all right, let's get into the fucking show.
Let's cast this pod,
we've been,
goddammit.
We've been jibber jabbing, talking about our
Jibber-jabbing.
lives. Talking about our lives, and you guys were like, hurry the fuck up. But hey, we don't care. We're homies. We like to catch up and just talk, you know?
I like to think
what this
some
is.
of you guys enjoy
I would hope so.
listening
I
to
would
our
hope
bullshit
so.
about stuff.
I
you
hope
know?
we have, like, some interesting stories, you know?
I hope you're fans of us, not just like the bullshit we talk about.
They're like, get to the fucking movies.
Yeah, I want to hear
bitch."
about Indiana Jones. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. We got a little bit of a mix of a show,
Yeah.
you know? We got some.
Lots of
There's
stuff.
a bunch of news that's come out, so we're going to talk about a couple of those. Secret Invasion has come out. We're going to talk about that. And
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny, rounding out this pretty crazy month of June.
It was wild. We have Diggs was asking when we left the theater for Indiana Jones, and as far as I can tell, we have like a 2-week break. Because the first thing coming out in July that I really want to see is going to be Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that's what
and
I
that's
was
also
thinking.
like the 16th, I think,
Mhm.
right
Yeah.
around there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw. I think I've been to the movies more in July.
We're in June.
Sorry, yeah, June, like consistently than I have in years.
Yeah,
like we
I've
went
never-
every fucking week, bro.
Sometimes I went twice in that week
Yeah,
just to
it
watch
was
the movie and
insane.
prepare
Yeah,
for the
it
show.
was
But
insane.
it was a great time. I had fun that month, and yeah, it was just a crazy month for movies. Like this is probably the most memorable month for movies that I can remember in a
Yeah.
long time.
No,
like
yeah, for sure.
Like normally, like you have the big blockbusters like kind of spread out. You have one that comes out, beginning of summer, and then you have another one that's like the middle of summer. Then you have ones that are like the end of summer. You know,
Yeah.
just to round it out. But it was just like no, June was
Everything's in
coming, and we're
June.
fucking hitting hard.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was first, and then it
Yeah.
was just boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom.
Wow, it was
So-
it was an intense month.
Yeah, it was nuts, and yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like while we were going into Indiana Jones, of like, damn, we're gonna have like a couple week break
Yeah,
from like the movies,
from the movie, yeah,
where we
yeah.
can catch up on like some shows because some great
Yeah.
shows have come out. The Bear season 2's come out. You have The Witcher season 3 part 1 that's come
Yeah.
out. We have a lot of stuff. We have
Yeah,
a lot
there
of
is a
stuff.
lot going on right now. Secret
man.
Invasion, as we're going to talk about.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But we're going to talk about some news. We're going to talk about Secret Invasion and Indiana Jones. We're not coming with the typical like 2-movie fucking.
it'll be spread
like,
out. It'll be
Yeah,
spread out.
we're experimenting today, guys. We're
Experimento.
experimenting. So I would say let's start off with just some news. Personally, I
Yeah.
think start off with the biggest one is that
Superman?
we got the cast or the two main.
Yeah, we got Superman and Lois Lane.
We got Superman and Lois Lane cast for Superman Legacy. David Cornsweet is going to be Superman. I've personally never seen him in anything. I know you said he was in Hollywood.
Yes.
I think I've seen clips of that, and I'm just like, okay, I'm fucking down.
Yeah.
Obviously, he has the look for Superman.
yeah,
Like, definitely, like, he is just stereotypical
Superman. Yeah.
So I'm pretty down. And then we also have Rachel Brosnahan as Lois. She is in The Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah, I've never seen that show before, but I've heard really good things about it.
I watched like an episode of it yesterday because again I had never really heard of Rachel Brosnahan. She's in stuff like House of Cards and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so she is a
yeah.
very like decorated actor in her regards. Like they're still very like young in their careers,
Yeah.
like for sure. But she is definitely very decorated in her career already. but yeah, I heard she was in Marvelous Miss Maisel. That's such a fucking
it's a tongue twister.
Yeah, especially after fucking sipping some of this right here.
Sipping
like,
that, yeah.
God damn it. But
Marvelous.
yeah,
Miss
I watched an episode of that yesterday, and she's like this Jewish lady who just gets married, and she's a comedian and stuff like that. So it's a pretty interesting role. Like she's in a lead role in a comedy series, you know, and she was doing pretty darn good. Cool. So I was pretty down. Again, she has the look for Lois Lane as well. Like when you just put them up on screen, you're like, oh yeah, cool.
They look at the part.
This is Superman and Lois Lane right here.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I was pretty down for that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on both of them being cast?
I'm excited. For one, like it's been talked about for I think a minute, like ever since James Gunn started it, that like this was gonna be a younger Clark and Lois, and I think look wise and whatever they look perfect. I'm excited to see them like what I imagine is gonna be in like their mid-20s.
Yeah,
I think that's when it's gonna start. Like I would say 25 and up. I don't know. We'll see if they do the classic, like, you know, all of his origin story up to that point where, like, they start him off as a baby, you see him as a kid, teenager, so on and so forth, whatever.
I imagine so. Like, you gotta, like, do some sort of, like...
I would be okay if they skipped it this time. I think that both Spider-Man and Batman have shown us that we've seen enough movies of that franchise now that you can skip that and you can get into the meat and potatoes and still tell a really good story. Have you for Superman, though? Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, you've only seen, like...
There's been 3 reboots for Superman, which is as many as Spider-Man has been. We had the original. We had Brandon Routh. We had Henry Cavill.
Brandon Routh was, like, the continuation of...
He was...
Like, Christopher Reeves as well.
But you can't deny the fact that that's a soft reboot. Because you're changing the actor, and you're continuing forward, right? Like...
Did they do like the origin story in that movie?
No, and it's fine. The movie's great. Like you can jump in because you know everybody knows Superman's origin at this point, and you can get right to the story that you want to tell. I personally would appreciate that. I think that for characters as big as him, you don't need origin stories anymore. When we get something like Blue Beetle, give me the whole fucking origin. I want the entire thing. When we got something like Moon Knight last year, a couple years ago, whenever it was, give me the whole origin, right? Those are like more like sideline characters that we're not as familiar with, but everybody fucking knows the story of Superman. He's the last son of Krypton, fucking jetted out of his dying planet to Earth. He landed in Kansas, raised by these people. That's why he's such a good dude. Whatever. It's easy. Get right into the fucking story. I don't need that. If they really want to, they can do like Man of Steel style and have flashbacks, references to what happened in his childhood. But I think it'll really help to build the character of Clark Kent and Superman. Yeah, if they just jump right into it, we don't need to see him grow up as a kid. I that's my opinion. I don't care if we don't get an origin story. But story stuff aside, got excited about that there. I think he looks really good. I think he has the chops to play. I think he has the ability to be one of the best Clark Kent / Supermans. We'll see how it goes.
I would agree with that. I watched a couple like interviews from David Cornsweet because I just was interested in like who he was just like as a person, right? Yeah. And I think like just kind of like your like just your regular just sort of persona or whatever, like your regular just day to day, like you're just your own person, right? Yeah. Just how David Cornsweet acts, I feel like is very important to just like who the character of Superman is, right? Like definitely. I feel like you definitely need to have some of those traits to enable to
embody that character,
embody that character, right? Yeah. And like watching his interviews, like I was down, like he is a very just like I feel like Superman, like I've heard people say, is like a dude you just want to come up and just like hug. Yeah, 100%. Right? And I was watching this interview, I was like, damn, dude, I just want to hug this dude.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think I am. I don't know if I want to go watch Hollywood, honestly, just because going into Superman, I don't want to have these like preconceived thoughts of like, oh, this is this character playing Superman, right? I just want to be like
same as the
just
first time,
yeah, just thrown into the world of like, okay, this guy is playing Superman. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like, so yeah, I'm pretty excited. Yeah. Do you not feel like, because I would like to see sort of kind of like what Man of Steel did and sort of like certain flashbacks to his childhood, because like I think that is a little bit I wouldn't say like the most important thing to Superman, but I think like seeing him grow up and just kind of like try to understand things and like having Pa Kent kind of like explain things to him is pretty important to the role of Superman, you know?
Yeah.
But
I think I could be wrong here because I will say it's like Spider-Man is number 1 and then Batman is number 2 in terms of like superheroes that I probably know the best, like nearest and dearest to my heart. I don't know where Superman sits on that list. There's probably some Marvel characters before him, but I would like to think that I know Superman pretty well. And I think that the intense struggle, the really hardcore like character drama struggle to understand his powers and figure out where he fits in the world is important to the Man of Steel Superman.
Okay.
I don't think that is important to a classic Superman.
Okay.
Because I've told you this before. My biggest pet peeve with the Man of Steel Superman, not necessarily Henry Cavill's portrayal. I think given the right writers, he probably could have been the greatest. I don't think he sits there, though. Not for me personally. I don't think it's... I think it's an interesting story, but I don't think it's like Superman to its blood to have a Superman that is like, fuck, I don't know who I am. I don't know where I sit in this world. I don't know what my powers mean. I don't know this. Am I a god to them? Am I not? Fuck that. That's not... That to me, that's not Superman. Superman is your best fucking friend who happens to be the most powerful person in the universe. And he's cool with that. He's like Captain America. He's like, this is the lot I've been given in life. I accept it fully. He's not necessarily somebody that you have rapid character development and growth from. He enacts change in others around him because he is such a paragon of good.
Okay.
And that is the Superman that I want to see. And I think that they can pull this off from that. And I don't think that that necessarily means you have to boot out all of the childhood stuff. But I personally don't want to see teenage drama of him being like, they're fucking bullying me at school because I have laser vision. Like, no, fuck that. Stupid. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't want that again. I'm okay without it. So just get me into the meat and potatoes of like the best fucking friend you've ever had. That again is also simultaneously the most powerful person in the universe.
Nice.
That's what I want.
Okay.
And I think he can pull that off great. I think James Gunn will be able to pull that off great from what I've seen in Guardians. That's the main thing I have to go off of for James Gunn, to be perfectly honest. I don't think I've seen anything else that he's done. But the heart and the warmth that he can give to his characters, I think Peter Quill in particular, gives me a lot of hope in terms of who Superman can be. Because, like, honestly, not quite as goofy as Quill is, and not quite as damaged as Quill is. I think that's like a decent like starting point for what like a good Superman should be. Is kind of that like goofy, happy-go-lucky, like, hey, what's up, guys, type of shit or whatever.
What's up, Smallville?
Yeah, exactly, type of vibe. So I think it's gonna be good. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, I'm also excited to see, like, as much as we're talking about Superman, like just Lois as well, because I feel like she is a very important character to Superman.
Yeah,
and she is just not your regular like love interest, like damsel in distress type. Like, she is her own character, and she 100%. Is a fucking badass. Yeah. So I'm excited to see how James Gunn like handles that aspect, because I feel like he is a really good fucking writer and handles his characters really well. Yeah. So like I'm excited to see how Rachel Brosnahan is able to embody that character, like to bring that out in like in Lois, because she is this very like, she's super smart. Like she's like, she's not ditzy, she's not dumb. She's like, she's smart. She's willing to do like whatever, and she is like, as much as she is like that anchor for Superman, right? Like Superman will fucking do anything, right? If you fuck with Lois, he's gonna go fucking nuts. But it's like she's her own character, so I'm excited to see her portrayal as Lois in the fucking.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of popularity around them as a couple / duo right now too, with Superman and Lois. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's like coming at the right time to where there's already that idea of them being a partnership rather than like a superhero and his girlfriend is already out there in the popular eye, which is good. I think it's going to make the transition to that a lot cleaner. And also too, I agree with you. I do hope that they focus on them a little more, because I think the other thing too that the Man of Steel and the Zack Snyderverse missed out on big time was the role of Clark Kent. I think they completely skipped over it. I'm pretty sure you see Henry Cavill in glasses like twice.
Well, I mean, granted, they did want to do a Man of Steel 2, but that eventually was just like, you're going to do Batman versus Superman, not Man of Steel 2.
That's fair, but even still, I think that like in an origin story. I don't want to wait till Superman 2
That's
to
true.
find out that Clark Kent is also a big part of the Superman role. Like,
that's
you
true.
do that in the first movie, you know?
Yeah.
Not that, again, I like Man of Steel for what it is. I think that's a cool movie still. I think it's pretty good. But I want to see the duality of that character more, because it's like a pretty big part of his life as well, him being Clark Kent, you know? That's where his like values and like lines get drawn for the person that is Superman. The powers make him powerful, but the Kents, Pa and Ma Kent, and him being Clark Kent is what makes him Superman. Like, so that's a big part that like we haven't seen for me since like Christopher Reeves, way back in fucking 78 or 79 or whatever it was. And so I'm excited because I think that's coming back. And again, I think David Cornsweet is perfect for that, because in Hollywood, it gets a little bit more intense down the line, but he comes to Hollywood as like this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed like kid from the country who's excited about doing this and that or whatever. And I'm like, motherfucker, that's Clark Kent. Like, perfect. We got it. It's going to be great.
I was watching a video, and I think there's like another show that he's in where he's like, they reference him like in the show, like as like, hey man, you look like fucking Superman or something like that, which is pretty fucking nuts.
No, he does. He's got the good look too. Exactly. I've seen a lot of people
Even
say,
the hair too, like the hair.
it's already there.
Like,
like his natural hair, he's got the little squiggle already.
Exactly.
It's like, you fucker, you were probably made for this role. No, so I think casting has gone well. I think I haven't seen, as I said before, Rachel Brosnahan a lot, but I think look wise and energy from like what I've gotten from her, I think she has more than definitely like what it takes to play that like Spitfire kind of like doesn't take no shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I might not be a superhero, but you're gonna fucking respect me, dog, type of vibe. So I'm down. I'm ready to see them as a couple.
I watched a few interviews with her as well, and she's like super well spoken, which I think is also super important to the character.
Yeah, she's a reporter.
She's a reporter.
Yeah,
she's super
journalist.
smart. Like, she's gonna uncover all the nitty gritty. So I think that's very important. Again, I hope that's portrayed very well. But speaking of Pa Kent, it is rumored that Brendan Fraser could possibly be Pa Kent. How do you feel about that?
That's fine. I don't want I at this point now, I am over celebrity castings. Not to say that David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan are not celebrities. They are, I get it. But I think you understand what I mean when I say that, which is that Brendan Fraser is obviously very popular right now, whether it be memes, actual heart pouring like love for the guy, like nostalgia for the Mummy franchise, whatever. He's a big thing right now.
Well, he also came out and then with the whale. Which
but he's huge. He's huge right now. I'm not saying he's not a good actor. That's not what it is, right? But I'm just over this idea of like, let's capitalize on somebody's popularity in this character role, rather than let's go through the casting process to find somebody.
Granted,
who's
it's not final that it is Brendan Fraser. This is just a possibility.
I'm just saying I would say no, thank you.
Yeah,
I don't want Brendan Fraser as Pa Kent. I think he would do a good job. I don't think he would be bad. I just think it would be very distracting. I don't need any memery right off the bat in my Superman movie based off of some Brendan Fraser shit, you know?
That's what I was thinking as well, is like, as much as I would love him in that role and I think he would do a great job, like, I don't think he couldn't do a good job.
No.
Like, it is just distracting.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with like Superman and Lois, right? Casting people who are in their own rights like really good actors, but not necessarily super well known.
They're not like that worldwide level.
They're not they're not the A list like the freaking Robert Downeys and the freaking people like that. You know, like,
all your Marvel and DC stars at this point.
Exactly. So it's nice having those characters who are really big start as like a clean slate, so you don't have that baggage come along with it.
I love it.
And I think that's what would happen if you do have Brendan Fraser as Pa Kent. Like, not that he would do bad. I also don't think he has like the look of like a Pa Kent
I don't think so either.
You know, so
I think the other thing too, they're smart, right? They are finally. I think the main flaw of the DCEU was that they were trying too hard to catch up to Marvel. It seems like the DCU and James Gunn are willing to be like, it's fine. It's going to take us a little longer to get there, but we're going to start from the ground up. And that's what they did, right? Like we say Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Chris Hemsworth, whatever, Chris Pratt, all these are like household names nowadays, but they were not in 2008 when Iron Man first came out. And that's what they need to do here, and I think that's what they're doing. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and I think just a lot of that pressure comes from like fans that are like, like I think if DC handled well, like just because I'm a really big DC fan, I think if DC was handled well, I would like it better than Marvel. But that is just me personally because I really like DC a lot more than Marvel. And yeah, I think that is like a lot of like the problems with DC is like they just haven't had like a plan moving forward.
No, yeah.
And like with James Gunn coming in, Peter Safran, like they really do have like a plan moving forward. And I think the pressure just comes from fans that are just like, hey, we want shit fucking now, right?
Yeah.
But shit takes time. Like fucking the Infinity Saga didn't happen like as fast as like all the other shit's happening. It took much
11 years to get to Endgame. From Iron Man 1 to Endgame was a decade.
And personally what I would like to see is like a lot more individual movies. Like I feel like nowadays like we're getting so many crossovers. So this person's in this movie, this person's in that movie. It's like it takes away from who the movie is about sometimes, you know, at least in my opinion. I would like to see it get back to like this is this guy's movie. Like maybe we have an end credit scene where this guy comes in, or like at the very end of the movie this person comes in, but I want it to be centered on like this person because I think that is what led to the success of those early Marvel movies. Is like Iron Man was about Iron Man.
Yeah.
In the at the end credit scene, you had freaking Nick Fury coming through and like, hey, look, I'm starting the Avengers. You want to fucking, you know? But it's like,
but then you got Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America was that.
And you got Incredible Hulk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even like in the early, you had Doctor Strange, which was Doctor Strange. It's like now it's like, oh my God, Doctor Strange is a fucking in a freaking. There's America Chavez and Doctor Strange, and you got this person in Ant-Man, and you got this, and that, which is cool, right? Like in comics, that's how it is sometimes. Like you got characters crossing over.
Yeah.
But it's like sometimes that takes away from who the actual movie is about.
I feel like that's the ideal. It's like the double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Of trying to build a single continuity universe, right? Because that is the goal. You want to build up all of this world with individual movies, so that you can get to the point where you can say this superhero is going to be in this superhero's movie, and you're not going to bat an eye. I don't have to explain to you why this person is here, because you know that person from over there and you know this from over here, right? Or we're going to introduce this person in this character's movie, and we don't have to like do this with the main character because you already know who that person is. You have a bunch of movies, blah, blah, blah. That's the goal. That's what you want to get to. Not to say that you can't mess that up, because you can, but it's kind of like, I just watched the Stan Lee documentary recently, and like I actually got crazy parallels from the start of the Marvel Universe in the comic books to the start of the Marvel Universe in the movies. Obviously, it makes sense, right? But there is an inevitable tipping point where the fucking coolness that is slowly starting to cross things over gets you a little bit tired, or gets some people tired. It depends. I personally don't give a fuck. I gobble down every single fucking Marvel thing that comes out, right?
Oh,
but
pause the gobble.
No
shit.
pause. Let's resume that shit. But
double time,
maybe. But I think it is there. There's just a tipping point at some point or another, right? You try really hard to do all of this building and world building and stuff like that, so that you can have those moments. But then at a certain point, people might get tired of having those moments over and over. And that was very similar to what happened in the comic books. It was this exciting time where they were creating all these characters for the first time, not like reimagining them for the live action or whatever, right? And then the crossover started to happen, and it was really cool because it's like, holy shit, what if we did this crossover and that crossover? But then where we are now, it gets to a point where it's pretty hard to, I feel like nowadays with comic books, whether it be DC or Marvel, it's very, you have one of two good stories that will be appreciated by fans, right? And it's either something that goes back to the roots of the character, not necessarily like revisiting their origin, but like getting down to brass tacks about like who this character is and what they're all about, or it's a gigantic world shifting multi-universal like war story or whatever, where everybody comes together to fight some big bad guy or some big problem or whatever it is. And so they're being smart, and they're going back to the beginning of that, I think, and starting. I hope so. Anyways, we don't know, but from what I understand, it seems like we're gonna get those like, okay, let's figure out who these people are first before we start building out all of this apocalypse and this and that and whatnot. Like Apocalypse got teased at the end of like the second fucking movie in the DCEU. I'm pretty sure, right? Don't they have Apocalypse teased in Batman versus Superman?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, I could be wrong. Either way, it's crazy to me that from year. Man of Steel was 2013, I think. Justice League came out in 2017. That's pretty quick.
Well, I would say that's also more like studio pushing, like,
Yeah.
hey, let's get the ball rolling, because
Yeah.
at that time Marvel was becoming Marvel.
Yeah, they were already past the first Avengers.
Exactly.
So
they were seeing like the big
Yeah.
boom in like these big superhero crossover movies, and they were trying to get to that, which is why, like, you know, Zack Snyder wanted there to be Man of Steel 1, Man of Steel 2, and
Yeah.
he had like this roadmap, but like a lot of it was a studio like, hey, let's kind of move shit along here. You know?
And like I do have a little bit of sympathy,
Mhm.
but the other thing too that you have to keep in mind is that's the exact same time frame that it took for them to get from Iron Man 1 to Avengers.
Mhm.
And that works way better. From 2008 to 2012 is 4 years. From 2013 to 2017 is 4 years.
Mhm.
So they did something wrong along the way in
Yeah.
terms of which projects they picked, I think is really what it is.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to cross over too soon, because you got
Yeah.
you got Man of Steel. You didn't even get a Batman movie
No, it was just
before
Batman
that.
versus
It was just
Superman.
Batman versus
Yeah.
Superman, which is Batman 1 and then Man of Steel 2, and then
Yeah.
you also have Wonder Woman that comes
Yeah.
in. So it's like Wonder Woman 1.5
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like
Yeah.
all these movies that like are trying to be one movie,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I think the other thing too is like I don't like I won't go so far as to say that like I 100% dislike Zack Snyder, because there are some movies that I do like that he's made, but I don't think he was the right guy to build a superhero universe, because like a lot of Zack Snyder's movies seem to be about like breaking the mythos of the superhero. Like the end of the first movie that he made was Superman fucking snapping a dude's neck.
Yeah.
Right? And like Batman versus Superman, his Batman kills right off the bat, and it's about Superman like brooding the whole time. So like interesting movies, right? I'm not saying that he's not ambitious and that he doesn't have like good vision for what he wanted to do, but I don't think he's the right person to build a superhero universe around, where you have to establish strong, understandable characters that are relatively unwavering in who they are, so that when you do bring them over into another crossover or this or that or whatever it is, it's easy to go, I know who that person is. That's how they're going to interact with this person.
Yeah.
But when it's all of this like character analyzation of like, what would it really like to be a god among men and shit like that, it's hard for that Superman to be the big boy in blue and interact with Batman and Wonder Woman and all these other people and stuff like that, you know? And so I think this is going to be a much better starting point. I would like to say that it has the potential to be as good as Endgame and the Infinity Saga and everything. I personally don't know if it can be better. Not necessarily because of like a DC versus Marvel thing, but I think that they have the unfortunate expectation of the Infinity Saga on them, that the idea of them surpassing everything that they did across those 10 years seems pretty hard to me. Not even just because it's like DC versus Marvel. I don't think anybody is ever going to do what Marvel did in that 10-year span. I don't even think Marvel's going to be able to do it again. So I think they can get close. I think they can do, again, even as good as how that first stuff was. It just depends on how they set it up. Because the other thing, too, is that, like, they also... Marvel characters have become super popularized in the last 10 years because of the movies. There's a lot of DC stuff that people don't really know about still. And on top of that, it is, like, a lot more wacky. Because everything DC is fictional.
Oh, yeah.
It's both exciting and difficult to deal with, right? Because it's easy to make Iron Man and Captain America and Spider-Man grounded because they all live in New York, right? It's a real tangible place. You could be like, oh, what if superheroes were swinging through here or whatever? Metropolis is basically New York, right? So that's fine, but it is still a fictional place. And on top of that, a lot of Superman's bad guys are like aliens, which is fine because we're desensitized to like superheroes fighting aliens now. Marvel took care of that. But again, it's like all of these like DC definitely goes further out on the wacky side, I would say, than Marvel does. So finding a way to like make that like doable and feel like real and like a world that's lived in and built up, I think is a more difficult task. So we'll see how it goes though. I think it's going to be good. I have a lot of hope for the actors that they've chosen so far. I have a lot of hope for James Gunn. I am Worried about Batman because that's always a difficult thing to pull off, especially because we've had so many Bat people at this point.
Bat people.
Bat people, yeah.
I love it.
So we'll see how it goes. But I think Superman. I'm excited for Superman, and that's really what needs to hit first. Is we need Superman first. Yeah. So,
and before we move on to Superman, an important, I think, character in the Superman universe that is like the foil to Superman is Lex Luthor. And right now, it's rumored that both the Skarsgård brothers, Bill and
Alexander
Skarsgård, are in the running for Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
and I think both would be fucking. I think they both could pull it off. So it's like
I take Alex over Bill.
I think so too, just because he is more of that physically imposing force.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need Lex to be physically imposing because I think Lex Luthor's true like strength is his mind. He's a fucking genius, right? He doesn't beat up Superman. He beats him with his wits, right? And he builds cool suits to fight him, sure, every once in a while. But he fucks with Superman mentally. Like, that was one thing that Jesse Eisenberg was, like, close of, is that's how Lex Luthor fucks with Superman. Is, like, he puts him in impossible situations and makes him...
But he's also very, like, charismatic, too, which I think is one thing that the Jesse Eisenberg...
No, they made him awkward. They took, like, the Barry Allen approach, which is, like, let's make him socially awkward instead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, like, if you, like, again, I think both would be nice. Alex, I think, would be the more physical choice. I personally really like Bill. Like, I don't know, I'm a big Bill Skarsgård fan, so I would like to see Bill. It would be kind of weird seeing him bald, you know?
I think that's really what does it for me, is it's like, I don't want to be, I mean, like, it's a weird thing to talk about, but it is true, right? Part of casting a person is they have to have the right look.
That's why freaking the Lex Luthor from Smallville is, like,
Michael Rosenbaum. Yeah, he does look really good.
That's the Lex Luthor.
So
sure.
I personally would have a hard time. No offense, Bill Skarsgård, you're a great actor, but you got some big eyes, buddy, and those big old Pennywise eyes with a bald head is gonna freak me out. I don't think that looks. I think that looks a little bit wacky. I think it looks a little wonky. Again, no offense, but part of casting somebody is also about the look. I think Alex just looks a little better.
Yeah. Yeah,
but acting chops, you're right. Both of them could totally pull it off. Yeah, 100%. They have the villain.
Any Skarsgård, bro. You throw in any Skarsgård,
they're gonna be fine. They're gonna kill it. Yeah,
like,
100%.
Even if you throw in fucking Stellan Skarsgård, like, he's old, but you're just like, fuck, this dude's awesome.
I would honestly be. I think I would be happier though if it was neither of them. If it was again somebody that came out of nowhere, because I won't say that like Bill and Alexander Skarsgård are in their own right necessarily like super A-list 100% celebrities. I think Bill is definitely higher up there than Alex is. But I think the Skarsgård family is definitely one of those groups of people that you probably know. And I think, again, there might be a little bit of distraction involved, which is also why I would choose Alex over Bill. But I would honestly like a sleeper hit. Like, don't give me anybody that I really know.
True.
Give me somebody else. Is what I'd be more happy with.
I think that's always like the best thing. Is like always getting like a sleeper hit. You know, like being exposed to a new great actor. You 100%. Know, is always a great.
Give somebody a chance to shine.
Yeah. It's always a great thing.
Yeah, it's easy to go with somebody who you know has good acting ability. But if you find that in somebody who is not that they haven't done anything, obviously you want them to have a little bit of experience, but are not like popular in like the main media eye. I think that's always the best choice.
I think the main thing with like Lex Luthor is you can't have someone that is known for playing like super nice roles playing Lex Luthor. Like it would be a nice like thing to see, like someone who's like, oh my god, they only play like happy-go-lucky roles, and all of a sudden they're playing like a dude who is like yeah, he's a villain, but he just like wants to protect Earth from like Superman, basically.
No, he does. Yeah, like, he thinks Superman is a threat.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's not like bad, you know. Like
he's like a deranged Tony Stark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People would probably be freaked out if like a good portion of the world would probably be freaked out if there was all of a sudden this super powerful, omnipotent being that lived in freaking on Earth that couldn't fucking die.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, everyone would be like,
unless he dressed in American colors and just saved everybody all the time. Yeah. Then it's like, oh, that's Superman. He's super cool. You know?
But Lex Luthor is a character who's very like manipulative and like
he's almost
villainous in his own rights.
Yeah.
You know, he's not like this super. He's not your stereotypical villain, right? He's not like a Joker or like a freaking Captain Cold or like a freaking someone like that.
He's like a blend of. For like a Marvel comparison, the three characters that are coming to mind is he's like a blend of Tony Stark, J. Jonah Jameson, and the Kingpin.
Yes.
He holds up his personal or his public persona very well because nobody knows Lex Luthor is a bad guy. He fucking shames and slanders Superman all day long and tries to blame everything on him all the fucking time, like J. Jonah Jameson does. But he's a genius level intellect billionaire who owns a company that's like very well respected, like Tony Stark, or like a Norman Osborn, I guess, is like a better comparison than like Tony.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's a tough one to pull. Honestly, I think he is a harder casting than either Superman or Lois.
True.
That's way more difficult to find.
That's why I would like to see either of the Skarsgårds, just because they are like, I don't think they come with like the same baggage as someone who's already like, they have played very like big roles. Like obviously Bill's played It, and then you have Alex who's played freaking the Northman and stuff like that. So they have their big roles in their own right, but I don't think they're the roles that are like if Alex comes in and plays freaking Lex Luthor, I'm not gonna be like, oh, there's the freaking Northman, there's the freaking Viking, you know. Mm-hmm. If Bill comes in and plays Lex, I'm not gonna be like, oh, there's freaking Pennywise the clown, you know. Like
that one, I think is for me personally. Maybe it's just because like,
but like when I saw him in John Wick, right, I didn't have that impression of like, oh, there's Pennywise the clown. I'm like, oh, there's Bill Skarsgård. Okay,
yeah, okay. But it's because he did. I think he is almost. I don't think he's quite as good, but I think he's almost as iconic as Tim Curry was. He made Pennywise his own, and that was a pretty fat hit. I would go so far as to say that, like, in the last 10 years or so, maybe not the one, but it was definitely one of the things that helped popularize horror.
Oh, yeah.
Because
1,000%.
horror is a huge genre nowadays.
1,000%.
People are way more open to horror movies being, quote unquote, like real works of art nowadays compared to how they were back in the day, right? And so I think that was a big part of it. So like I do have a hard time separating Pennywise from Bill Skarsgård.
I see that. Yeah, I see that. I respect it. But if they throw us just like someone that we don't know and they fucking kill
Give me that shit.
I'm with it.
That's what I want.
I'm with it.
That's what I want.
With it. But yeah, moving on from Superman, we hope it's fucking great. I think it's gonna be great.
I do too.
Like James Gunn has killed everything in the superhero genre that I've seen him. Like, even if you go through the trilogy of Guardians of the Galaxy movies and you're like, really this one's not as good, but I think like
they're all still good.
They're all fucking
They're all
solid.
really good.
I think even the worst one is up there with like some of the better. Like,
well, every movie has their flaws too.
Exactly.
Even the greatest movie of all time, there's going to be certain things that people don't like about them.
Yeah,
that's okay.
But I think James Gunn's track record is
pretty good.
You know, pretty fucking good.
Yeah, he's done well.
And you know, he wanted to work with Peter Safran, so I think them two working together and being on the same page is very important. You know, it's like it's important to anything, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be awesome. But in other news, we're going back to the beginning of June. Across the Spider-Verse came out. Beautiful movie. I came on here and rated it like a 9.5 or something like that. I forget my actual rating of it, but it was fucking great. I loved it. The visuals, stunning.
Yeah.
Thought even better than the fucking first one.
Probably the strongest part of the movie.
Exactly.
Honestly.
The way they went into the different universes and really painted a different picture for each universe, I thought was amazing and the strongest aspect of that movie.
I don't think we've ever seen anything like that before.
1,000%. Like, they are pushing the boundaries. Like, it's crazy that in the first one, was pushing the boundaries for animation, and then in the second one they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna keep doing it.
It's cool, we're just gonna one up ourselves,
and then the next one they're probably gonna be doing some crazy shit. But you know, with all that crazy animation art style comes a lot of work, obviously, and we didn't get any wind of it beforehand. Obviously, we've heard some stuff with Marvel already in like the MCU with like them overworking their VFX people and stuff like that. But few weeks after Across the Spider-Verse came out, we've learned there's artists and stuff like that were leaving because of specific working conditions. I read a really good article by Vulture. If you guys want to go check that out, definitely go check it out. It definitely paints a better picture of what we're about to talk about. You know, just because those people are paid to freaking write super good articles, and I'm not paid to write a super good article. And we're just talking about it on podcast. But basically, it came out from, I think, 4 different artists that worked on Across the Spider-Verse and then eventually left because of the working conditions that Lord and Miller were basically, like, indecisive on what they wanted with the movie, right? Like, with animation, there are specific things that you do. Like, okay, we're going to come up with this fucking story. When we got the whole story, now we're going to fucking start drawing the shit. When we start drawing the shit, then we're going to get people to start blah, 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 do this. But Lord and Miller were very, like, unspecific with what they wanted, right? They had this base. They had kind of like a skeleton of a story, and then people were doing a bunch of artwork, and then like, no, we're gonna go change this. No, we're gonna go change that, right? And I can see how that can be like super tough for an artist, right?
Yeah.
You draw stuff and you work a lot. You work a lot on this, and then you send it, and they're like, no, we're gonna change this, right?
Yeah.
Pretty nuts. But also, what came out is that they were some people working like 70+ hour like work weeks and stuff like that, working like 7 days a week. That's fucking nuts. That's pretty intense, crazy. Yeah. We are very much on the side of like workers and stuff like that, and very feeling that they should be compensated for the amount of work and stuff like that. But like this is also a super big movie that requires a lot of work to it, right? So it's not like, I don't see it like out of the ordinary if they were to come out and be like, damn, we had to work like a long ass time on this, right? Yeah. So it's not like the craziest thing, right? But again, when you're working 70+ hours and then 7 days a week,
that's a lot. Yeah,
that's a fucking lot. And then when you're drawing a lot of shit and then you're sending it off,
that's 10 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they're sending it back and be like, no, we don't fucking want this.
Yeah,
I can understand. I would fucking want to leave too. That'd probably be hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty fucking nuts. What are your thoughts on that? About, I don't know if you've heard of that before, if you saw it on like the internet.
That one I haven't heard of. No, I didn't hear about it in regards to Across the Spider-Verse. On the first point that you brought up, in terms of having to switch things up a lot, personally, I would say that, not to disregard that that's a difficult thing to deal with, but I think that is a specific case of the medium that they're working in. Because directors, as far as I understand, will all of the time change their minds about stuff. And quite frankly, I think they should be allowed to. If you go with exactly what is your first vision, something might kind of fucking suck. You might find good things along the way to change up, to switch up, whatever it might be, that help make something better, right? So I think that's a product of the medium, in that it's easier to shoot a bunch of stuff with actors and go back in the editing room afterwards and be like, nah, I don't like this so much, let's change it up to this. Or I do like that a lot, let's do more of that. Versus people who are spending hours and hours and hours drawing and animating the thing. When you switch that up, that's a different story, right? Because that obviously is a lot more man hours to work and fix and change stuff all the time and whatnot. So it is weird, you know? Like I think that it's important that like a person in charge of a creative project like a movie has the ability to change things up if they feel that that's necessary to make the best movie, which obviously this ended up probably being the best version of what this movie could have been. I don't see how it probably could have been better. But with the medium of animation and having to redraw all of these different things all the time, I get it. That does fucking suck. That's a heftier price to pay than just doing some reshoots or something like that.
Yeah, so I'll read this little tidbit from the Vulture article. While frequent major overhauls are standard operating procedures in animation, Pixar films can take between 4 and 7 years to plot, animate, and render. Those changes typically occur early on during development and storyboarding stages. But the Spider-Verse 2 crew members say they were asked to make alterations to already approved animation sequences that created a backlog of work across multiple late-stage departments. Across the Spider-Verse was meant to debut in theaters in April of 2022 before it was postponed to October of that year, and then in June 2023, owing to what Entertainment Weekly reported as pandemic-related delays. However, the 4 crew members say animators who were hired in the spring of 2021 sat idle for anywhere from 3 to 6 months that year, while Lord tinkered with the movie in the layout stage when the first 3D representation of the storyboards are created. So...
yeah, I don't know. I see that it is tough, right? Because it's like, we as fans...
Okay, I'll say this also.
Oh, go ahead.
As a result, these individuals say they were pushed to work more than 11 hours a day, 7 days a week for more than a year to make up for the time lost, and were forced back to the drawing board as many as 5 times to revise work during the final rendering stage. In these insiders' tellings, Across the Spider-Verse's triumvirate of directors, Joaquim Dos Santos, Justin K. Thompson, and Kent Powers were overshadowed by the forceful presence of Lord, who sought final approval for every sequence in the film. Miller, for his part, was said to be MIA for much of the production. Through the studio, Lord, Miller, Dos Santos, Thompson, and Powers declined to comment for this story. Sony disputes these claims, blah, blah, blah. Describing feature animation as a generally iterative process. I don't know what the fuck that means. But yeah, basically Amy Pascal came out and said like, "Hey, welcome to making a movie. Like this is making a movie, basically."
Yeah, see, so like it's like I would say that's like a double-edged sort of a statement because that is what making a movie is like.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't bet on the fact that your first idea is going to be your last idea.
Mm-hmm.
Things are bound to change over the course of making a movie. But again, I think it is really due to the medium in which they're making this movie and the fact that they have to spend so many hours redrawing or retooling or reanimating or whatever it is, the sequences that they want changed kind of brings a new light to it. So I don't know. It's a weird thing because again,
right.
I wanted to bring up the fact that like we as fans appreciate when things take longer to make, right? Or at least I think you and I do.
Yeah.
Like we've always been one to be like, yeah, fucking postpone my shit. If I have to wait another year for it, that's fine because I want to see like the best version of that thing. But that seems to be the case of what happened with this movie, and there are unfortunately difficult stories involved in what that is, right? I also have to ask myself, like, I understand people need to make money and they need to put food on the table and this and that, but there is always the power to say no. And yeah, Across the Spider-Verse, one of the greatest animated movies of all time, might not get made because of that. But there are plenty of other people out there that will probably employ artists as good as they are that is not Sony and Marvel.
Yeah.
And so I have to ask the question of like, okay, just leave. Just go. If you're in bad working conditions, like I think we're too like just as human beings in general in the workforce these days, we are too conditioned to think that we have to stick it out through bad working conditions.
Yeah.
When in reality, you could say, all right, peace, this isn't working for me. I'm going to go find another job that treats me better. And where we are now, I would like to think those opportunities do exist. And so, again, it would suck if we never got Across the Spider-Verse. I'll say it again, one of, if not the most well done animated movies like of all time. But you gotta think about yourself, man. You know, like if it's not fucking working for you, you can't do it unless they were like obliged by some kind of contract that they signed or whatnot. Then like, shit, I don't know. Read all the fine print before you sign whatever you're gonna fucking get into.
Yeah. It's a tough thing, right? That's what I was asking myself. I was like, all right, let me put myself in the shoes of those people that are animating, right? Like the success of the first one, you probably know this one is you gotta top it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck, dude. It's just one of those tough things where like if you stick it out, it's like, damn, like something that I do could be a part of one of the greatest animated movies of all time, right? But if I don't really want to put up with this, then I don't like have to. So it's one of those things where you have to make the decision.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you can't do it, then you can't do it. It's okay.
No,
like, you know, you don't have to do stuff that you feel like you're forced to do, or you feel like or you feel like it's affecting your like mental health or your day-to-day life and stuff like that. Like, you know,
with stories like these, I think that's one of the things that I find is like so difficult to wrestle with.
There's a lot of nuances to it.
Yeah, because it's like, damn, all right, well, you did go through it all though, and you dealt with it, and you decided to keep your head down and just deal with it. And then now that the movie's out and it's successful and everything like that's been happening for years, years and years and years. This movie's been in development for at the very least 5 years. If they started immediately after the first one,
The Flash was
came out
in fucking production for the longest fucking
for 10
time.
years, almost. Yeah. So like, I like have to again, like it's like, okay, well, if you were experiencing those conditions as it was happening, talk about it. Bring it out to light when it's happening, and then again, leave or ask for something different, like the writer's strike is happening now and whatnot, right? Or whatever it is. Like, advocate for yourself while the thing is happening. Not that like advocating for yourself post the event is a bad thing necessarily, but I think it's more effective and it's more efficient to do so while the thing is happening to you, as opposed to being like, yeah, that was really fucking hard. I made all this money off this movie, but it was tough. It was so tough to go through all this stuff or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's also one of those things, like sometimes stuff in life is just super fucking hard.
Yeah.
Right. And like, maybe you may not see it now, but when you get to the end, it's like, damn, I'm glad I went through all of that shit. Because it's like, if you're one of those artists that like stuck it out, right, and we're like, fuck, this shit's hard, but I really believe in this movie, and then I really believe in like my artwork, and I want my artwork to be in this movie. Once you actually put it there and you see a scene that you did in the fucking movie, it's gonna feel so good.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll be like some other director's like, hey, I'm making this animated movie. Who the fuck did that scene in there? Who the fuck created all that? Because I want that person on my team and stuff like that. So yeah, it's one of those things, one of those conversations that has a bunch of nuances to it. We're always in favor of people being in or having the
Just
best working conditions as possible.
Yeah.
Right. But again, when you're creating movies that have so many moving parts like an animation movie does.
Or even just a regular movie, man.
Yeah, even just a regular movie.
I don't always really like the way that Amy Pascal phrases things. But with that particular statement, I can't say that I fully disagree with what she's trying to say.
Yeah.
I think it's a really harsh way
It is.
of saying it. But again, that is part of the process of making movies. Things are bound to change over the course of it, even in the final hour, right? And things will get delayed and pushed and forward and stuff. But again, I have to go back to the fact that like I really think the reason why it becomes such a controversy in a story in this case is the amount of man hours it takes to reanimate something versus the amount of man hours it takes to reshoot something.
Yeah.
So
True.
It's a difficult thing, man.
It is. Another thing that was pretty nuts that people were talking about on the internet that came to light, there were different versions of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Not like complete movies where like you saw a completely different movie, but like different scenes. So like where the first fight with the Vulture when freaking
Lila.
Yeah, when freaking Spider-Man 2099 is talking to Lila. Like there's one version where you see her take like a selfie.
Yeah.
And there's one version where she goes for a fist bump.
Yeah.
And then there's like another version where I think the Spot is like creates his own collider, and he's like, well, what if this happens? And then he just says something else.
Yeah, instead. Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I think that's pretty interesting. I haven't freaking saw a different version. I saw it 3 times, and from what I remember, each time was the exact same. And I saw it at a couple different theaters. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Is it good? Is it bad?
I think in this case, it's fine. I won't say that it's either good or bad. The changes that they made are harmless.
Yeah.
They don't affect like the overall movie, right? They're just like at that point they're like fun little Easter eggs. I do think it's weird.
Yeah.
I think it's like I don't know what unless it's just like an editor who like really wanted to be like, look, I put 2 different movies out there or whatever, like, or 2 different versions of the movie. Like, I don't really understand the purpose behind it. Part of me thinks they fucked up. And like with a movie this big, they accidentally send out 2 cuts of the movies to different things. And then they were like, called up the editor. And they're like, we need you to put out a statement that says like, I was waiting for you guys to figure it out. Yeah. Because the changes are so subtle and so stupid and so like they don't matter. I can't imagine that. I personally can't think of a reason why that would be done on purpose. I don't get it. It's fine. It doesn't matter to me. Again, I don't think it's either good or bad because it doesn't affect the movie overall. But I just think it's silly. Like
yeah, that
why?
is random.
Like it is really random. Like, okay, you changed the action that she does, or you changed like it. That I saw the Spot one too. It's like 2 or 3 words are different. Maybe like a line or 2.
No, the full statement is very different because one is like, well, what if this? Let me see.
But they like achieve the same thing though, right? Like the words are different, but it's the meaning behind whatever that line ends up being. I feel like is mostly the same. I could be wrong. Spider-Verse 2, different versions.
Let's see.
Let's check her out.
Bubble, bubble, bomb, bubble, bomb. Lila.
See, like that. I was wondering when people would start noticing. That just seems like such a fucking
a cop out.
Yeah, man. Of like, oops, we messed that up. You need to say this publicly.
Fuck. It doesn't say what they say. Compile the list.
Oh, somebody put an. Of course, it's on Reddit.
When Spot is going to put his finger in the, I like that was the first one that popped
when
up.
Spot's gonna put his finger in the mini collider.
He says, which will not be good, or he says, oh, what the heck. So I think those are pretty like different statements, and like one, he's just like, damn, this shit might not turn out good, you know, or the other one's just like, fuck it.
Yeah, but I feel like they
achieve the same thing.
They do, yeah, because it's like it's not like Jason Schwartzman is in there as like, this would not be good, you know. He's probably like, which would not be good. Like he's still basically embodying the idea of like, oh, what the heck, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
So again, it's meaningless. It's not like a big change. It's just an Easter egg.
When Ben Reilly grabs Miles during the chase scene, he either says, "I've got you trapped in my well-defined musculature."
Yeah.
So don't even. Or this one, or this one's called the sleeper hold. I'm using my bicep to constrict your.
Yeah.
During the scene where Miles' dad chases the Spot at the beginning, he follows through one of the spots. You either get a scene where he groans and looks around, or you get a quick one-frame reaction of his face. I've always saw the one-frame reaction of his face.
I don't even remember. I've seen the movie twice. Maybe 3 times. I can't remember, but I don't remember it that in depthly.
It happens super fucking fast. It was literally like I was like, damn, like was that even supposed to be part of the movie? Because it's just one frame of his, like they go through one of the portals. It's before they show up back at Alchemex.
Okay.
Like they go through the portal and freaking you just see it like a quick flash of his face. And he's just like
tripping out or whatever.
Yeah, and then they literally come back through the portal. So
yeah, all of the I read a couple more right now, and like all of them seem so
they're so subtle.
They're so mundane that like I don't. Again, unless the editor was like, "This is what the multiverse is like. Sometimes different universes are boring or whatever." You know what I mean? Like the changes between things are so subtle. I don't know. I really can't like. I personally can't think of a reason why an artist would want to put, from what I think is just 2 different versions, right, out there of something this big that have such small change. Like, I don't know what the purpose is for that. I don't get it. So, whatever. It's just silly. It's random. It's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think it's like this mind-boggling fucking like,
no,
did you see this? It's like, no, I get it. There's 2 different versions of the movies. Wow, crazy, but it doesn't change anything. Like, it doesn't really matter.
It just brings into question like how well they were doing their job when they were sending out the versions of the movies.
That's what I'm thinking. Is it's like, okay, maybe they just accidentally.
But it's also like, why do you have the 2 different versions of like with those? You know what I'm saying? Like, not that they're like big lines, but it's like, why did you have 2 versions of the movies?
Of the cut, yeah.
Where they're like.
One line is different than the other.
I can understand like one version there being like one extra word or something like that, but it's like sometimes they're like completely different phrases or like something shows up on the screen and something doesn't. That makes sense. If like on one version you put like a thought bubble on the screen and another version you don't.
Sure.
That makes more sense.
I guess, yeah. I think it just like
you silly goose.
Yeah, it's a silly goose thing. Like I really think if it was on purpose, it's probably just the editor having some fun, and being like it's just for him because nobody else is gonna take any pride in it. Like it's just kind of like a cool random thing to everybody else in the audience, right? But for him, he can be like, "I did that," but I don't get why. Like I just, I don't know. It's whatever.
Why do you do this?
Why? I think it's confusing and I don't get it, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, still a great movie.
Yeah.
I really, after like the initial stories of like the working conditions and like 100 or so like artists like leaving, like I haven't heard too much about it.
That does concern me for the next movie, if that many artists who worked on this one have left.
Yeah, I think it's probably for sure going to get pushed back. Because I think another thing in those articles were those artists saying like they haven't even worked on anything for like the next movie yet.
Yeah, I heard I would have to imagine that like something is done. There's no way they're going to just... There's no way they've done nothing, and we're just going to make this next movie in like a year. I find that pretty impossible to believe. But
yeah, granted, the people they talked to had already left. So maybe they weren't
part of the process. Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the voice work doesn't always take like a super long time. But again, like for me, a little bit of cause for concern is I don't think any of the voice actors involved have recorded anything for Beyond the Spider-Verse. At the very least, I know Haley Steinfeld hasn't, and I would have to imagine she's a pretty big part of the third movie. And again, voice work doesn't take a long time. They could probably knock out all of their lines in like a couple weeks, even like a couple weekends worth of work, maybe like whatever, right? But the fact that there's nothing happening on that front still tells me that there's still a lot going on like the animation side of things and like just the other movie production parts.
Or maybe they have to say there's nothing going on. Maybe they all sign NDAs.
Maybe.
And they got to be like.
Maybe, yeah. We haven't recorded anything yet. Could be. Yeah, who knows? They're very secretive about that shit.
But yeah, if you still haven't seen that shit, go check it out because it's still in fucking theaters and it's a great fucking movie.
Probably will be until like at least mid-July, maybe even at the end of July.
Yeah, I think they've said it's not coming out on like digital release until like August or something like that.
Yeah, so probably July.
And it's still always in like the top 3 of like movies like
yeah, I think everything that's come out since it has still stayed on top of like Transformers, Flash, and Indiana Jones.
Flopped.
Yeah, Flash flopped hard.
Yeah, it only made like 55 million in like the first week.
This was actually something that I wanted to ask you about because as much as our opinions were different on that movie, I think once I bring up what I'm about to bring up, we could both agree that we probably would have liked it to do better. I still think I wish it would have done better, personally. But Kevin Smith, who I find to be pretty reliable in terms of like having backdoor like contacts with superhero stuff. He's a pretty big dude for superhero things.
Oh yeah.
Came out and said that if this movie had hit, if it made at least as much as the original Batman did in 1989, they were going to move forward with the Batman Beyond movie with Michael Keaton as old Bruce Wayne. But because it hasn't, that's fucking scrapped. And that bums me the fuck out. I'm not going to lie. Because I have been waiting for a Batman Beyond movie for like a really long time. And I think Michael Keaton is a perfect pick to be the old Bruce Wayne or whatever.
Yeah, it bums me out, but that's such a weird like thing to put on it because like it's not a Batman Michael Keaton movie. Like as much as he is like, it's hard because I would probably say like that was one of my favorite parts of the movie was
Michael Keaton.
Was the Michael Keaton Batman. I thought he was awesome. It's hard to gauge what someone's favorite part of a movie was. Yeah, you know, because I think like just The Flash as a whole wasn't people's favorite movie. But if you were to ask a lot of people, they probably would say they liked the Michael Keaton Batman movie. Yeah. So,
but I think because the way that I was reading it was like that I do agree with from like a reviewer standpoint, but from a business standpoint, the fact that you don't know what the movie's gonna be like when you go see it, and everything. Most of your numbers come from opening weekend, which means that if the stuff in the trailers is not getting you excited enough to go to the movies opening weekend, regardless of how good the performance is from Michael Keaton or how cool his parts are, people in the general audiences are not excited enough by seeing Michael Keaton in a Flash trailer to go and watch that. I could see how they would take that as like, okay, people are probably cool off of Michael Keaton Batman at this point. Hardcore fans who really miss the old days or even just want to see him come back or whatever it is, sure. But the thing that I always try to keep in mind is that, like, I don't think that if these movies got made in, like, the 1990s for everything what they were, I don't think they would make as much money as they do now because you would probably only have a fraction.
They probably wouldn't spend as much money, though.
That, too. Yeah. But my point is that, like, the super hardcore dedicated nerd fan base that adds money to these giant multi-billion-dollar movies is probably, like, maybe not a super small fraction, but at the very least a fraction of who actually brings money into these movies. A lot of who brings money, cash, cold hard fucking ticket sales into these movies at this point now is general audiences who have been caught on to the superhero craze. We're going to go see them regardless, right? But if they start to lose the regular moviegoer who's going to bring like, I would say probably like 50%, 60 if I'm being generous, 40 if I'm trying to take some away of their revenue, then I could see how they'd be like, all right, this is not going to work. We're not going to do this.
Yeah. I mean, I also think a lot what had to do with that is like when you look at it, there was really like not much marketing around the Flash like leading up to it.
Yeah, but that's also just like real world problems because you can't. It's hard to market something who's got.
But
like,
exactly, but that
yeah.
like at the end of the day, that adds into it. When you have someone like an Ezra Miller who's
Yeah.
tied to
who's
your
leading your movie.
who's leading your movie,
Mhm.
who because he's leading your movie or they're leading your movie and they've done the things that they've done, and you can't market the movie
Mhm.
because of that, it's hard to gain the general audience that you're trying to get excited
Yeah.
for the movie.
Mhm.
You know, if you can only show like a couple trailers,
Yeah.
like here and there,
Mhm.
and you can't do much marketing with Ezra Miller, you
Yeah,
can't do much
yeah.
marketing with Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
like
no
it's
press or anything.
yeah,
like
it's
that,
hard
yeah.
to get people like, oh my god, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go fucking, I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
go
watch
check it
that
out.
shit,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
like, how many people nowadays are watching regular TV where
Mhm.
they're gonna see a TV spot or a trailer for that movie?
Mhm.
A lot of people are streaming
Yeah.
a lot of stuff,
Mhm.
and there's not gonna be a lot of like flash trailers.
No.
and fucking,
No. Yeah. Yeah.
when you're watching Hulu, you're on like basic Hulu with
No,
the
you're
ads.
probably
You're
probably
not
seeing
gonna,
ads for Hulu shows.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's hard when you don't have a bunch of marketing around it. So
Yeah.
I think personally, if you make a Batman Beyond movie with Michael Keaton, I personally think that would do way better than The Flash because I think a lot of people would come to see that more,
Yeah.
and you can market it a lot more than
Yeah.
you can with that movie. Whereas because he is just like, he's a big part of the movie and he's not at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
he's in a good majority of the movie, but he's not like the main like story,
Character or
like
anything,
main
yeah.
character, or
Mhm.
he's the main part of the story. He's just like a character that is affected by what's going on in
Mhm.
the story at the end of the day.
I also
it's just hard to gauge
Yeah.
like an audience's like
Reaction to
reaction
something,
to
yeah.
something
Yeah.
that's just in the movie that, you know,
As much as
that's
I-
not affected with like ticket sales, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you can't look at the 55 million
No.
million worth of ticket sales and be like, okay, how much
And
of,
not all of
how
them
much
like
of
the
that
movie.
was like for
Yeah.
like to come and see Michael Keaton?
Yeah.
You know?
No. Yeah. For sure.
Where
Yeah.
if, like, if most of that was to come and see Michael Keaton, I'd be like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
As like
Yeah.
executive, I'd be like,
you'd
damn,
have to pull a bunch of people. You'd
yeah,
literally
people
have
love to see Michael
yeah.
Keaton. Okay, let's just do more shit
Yeah.
around Michael Keaton.
I will say last thing I say too before, because I did introduce a random topic all of a sudden. But
No, that's
last thing
fine.
I'll say
I like
before I unfortunately have to take my bathroom break.
Mm-hmm.
I also am okay, as much as I do want to see a Batman Beyond movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also okay with it not happening right now.
Yeah, that's fine with me too.
Because like there's so much going on. They're about to reintroduce a new Batman. They're about to reintroduce all the new DC stuff.
Mhm.
Like, I'm okay if that happens later, and I'm even okay if that happens without Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I don't.
It's all right. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't need it. But if
Yeah.
you were to tell me I'm getting it, I
I'd
wouldn't
be
be
super
upset.
excited. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love Batman Beyond. Dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
I don't even know what
Yeah.
it's like. It's
Yeah.
just,
it's a mystery until we find it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like if one day you don't really want dessert, but for some reason they just give you dessert, and you're like,
You're like, fuck it, let me
alright,
have
dude,
that.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
eat it.
I'm about to
like,
munch on
fuck
this.
it, dude.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you have to go to the restroom.
I do.
It's,
Yes.
yeah.
Do you want more drinks?
If you want,
I'm down for another one
I'm
too.
down for another one.
We can
They're-
just cut it in.
Yeah.
They won't have to hear any of this part.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll just
It's-
transition.
Yeah,
over.
it's in the fridge.
Okay,
Or,
cool.
Yeah, actually, I'll go.
I
Grab it,
can grab them on the way back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll keep the people
All right.
entertained.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, guys. What are your thoughts on these like news topics that we've brought to you? Are you excited for David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan? What are your thoughts on the workers for like the animators for Across the Spider-Verse coming out and saying all these things about the working conditions and stuff like that? And what are your thoughts on The Flash? Did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? I personally wasn't the biggest fan. But that's not the thing. That's not to say it wasn't a fun movie. Like, I definitely had fun watching the movie. But, as a big Flash fan, I wasn't the most, pleased with it. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about that down in the YouTube comments. If you're on Spotify and listen to this on Spotify, what do you guys think about the episode? You can answer that question in the Spotify app. If you look underneath the episode, it'll ask you like, hey, what'd you think about this episode? And you can answer it. We would love that. Also, rate this episode on Spotify. Give us a like on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. Turn on your notification bell so you can be notified when these episodes come out. These come out every single Friday. And if not on Friday, they come out on Saturday, guys. But for the most part, every single Friday. Movies come out, or the videos for this come out within the Friday to Sunday sort of window. But the range window, yeah. I'm just letting people know where to find us, where to rate us, rate us 5 stars, rate us 4 stars if that's what you think this episode, if You think we are, but we're 5 stars.
Even if you think we're 4 stars, rate us 5 stars.
Yeah, even if you think we're 4 stars.
Just help us get out there, and then once we're popular, you can give us an honest rating.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm ready for this fucking second. These were really good, dude.
They are. I like them a lot too. They're tasty.
These are fucking great.
They're quite nice.
Let's move into the little meaty and
Secret Invasion?
potatoes of the episode. Yes.
Do we start Secret Invasion?
Yeah, let's do some Secret. Actually, let's do Indiana Jones first.
All right, let's do it.
Just because I feel like we'll talk about Secret Invasion a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, guys.
Dial of Destiny.
Yes.
The final movie in our June fucking marathon.
And the final movie in Indiana Jones, hopefully.
I would assume. I don't. The only thing I could see at this point, which quite frankly is inevitably going to happen, is probably a reboot. I don't know when that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I would hope that they take at least like a decade or two to do it. I don't think that's really what's going to happen. But yeah, I think with Harrison Ford, I think this is it. I think this is the last Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah. So, Indiana Jones' Dial of Destiny. Daredevil archaeologist Indiana Jones races against time, LOL, to retrieve a legendary dial that can change the course of history. Accompanied by his goddaughter, he soon finds himself squared off against Jürgen Vollier. I don't even know how to say the fucking Nazi name. A former Nazi who works for NASA. We don't fucking like Nazis, so we're not going to pronounce his name. Nah. I don't fucking care, dude.
Jürgen Voller.
Yeah. Jürgen Cox all day.
Jürgen douchebag. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, guys. I have never seen Indiana Jones before, so I
tell me what you thought about it.
I took a very different approach than what I normally would with a legacy type of movie that has a bunch of history to it. You know, Indiana Jones obviously has the OG trilogy with Harrison Ford that a lot of people really, really fucking like, and Harold is one of the better trilogies in movies.
Oh yeah.
Then you have the other one with Shia LaBeouf that people don't like. I've never seen any of them, so I was like, hey, let me watch this movie and be just a general audience member
cold turkey
that sees the trailer and is like, Harrison Ford, I like Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Let's go watch this movie. So, I'm taking the control group sort of seat in this conversation, but I honestly, I dug this movie. I thought it was super fun. I thought the action was pretty, like, refreshing from what we've been watching, you know, like, I feel like with the superhero movies and stuff like that, it's bang, pow. The good guy.
It's a lot of super-powered action.
Yeah, a lot of super-powered action. The good guy always beating up the bad guys and stuff like that. But Indiana Jones always gets beat the fuck up.
Yeah,
dude.
No, he doesn't get banged around.
But he just keeps going.
No, he's fine. He's got the John Wick superpower in that regard. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I thought this was awesome. Harrison Ford did really good. Mads Mikkelsen is always freaking awesome. Phoebe Waller-Bridge as Helena was pretty cool.
Yeah, she was charming.
Yeah, she was nice. Antonio Banderas obviously makes an appearance.
I was pissed.
Yeah.
They killed his ass, bro.
They killed his ass, yeah.
I was so sad. They just kill him off.
Boyd Holbrook, who was in Logan, also made an appearance. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty fun movie. Let me see my fucking notes that I wrote down. Yeah, action was fun and fresh. Yeah. Harrison Ford is always awesome and he's fucking charming. The homie still fucking has it. Like,
oh, yeah. I don't think he's ever going to lose it.
You watch him on Shrinking, he's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The de-aging in the first part was pretty cool.
Good.
Honestly, it was pretty fucking good.
The only time it fell apart for me was, like, some of the action sequences.
Yeah, and when he's talking a lot and you get, like... Yeah, when there's too much movement in the face, that's when you start to lose it a little bit.
But when you have just straight up shots of him, I was like, fuck, they got it. Like, it looks pretty darn good.
I will say, though, there are times when it, like, switches, like in the first part, when he's being interrogated and it's just him, and then it switches back to a real person, you'd be like, oh, okay, that's a real person.
Sure.
Like, you can pretty tell. But, honestly, thought it was pretty cool. Didn't think it was going to be as good as that, you know. Sometimes we see, especially like at the end of Mandalorian season 2 with Luke Skywalker, not the fucking best.
I think that looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good, but when you go back and watch it, you're like, oh, okay.
I mean, it's all the same tech, right? So when
you compare it to where he's at in like the Boba Fett Mandalorian episodes, it's way better than at the end of season 2.
Because this is all the same company's de-aging technology, even this movie, right? Mm-hmm. So. It makes sense, I think, right? It's just I always like try to liken it to video games, right? Like people saw something like I don't know, a really good graphic game in 2011 obviously looks trash now compared to something that can be done on the PS5. So like I remember at the time Luke Skywalker looking really good in like what, probably like 2019,
no,
2020 or something. Yeah,
I remember being there like, fuck, this
holy
is
shit, it's
awesome!
Luke. Yeah, so yeah, obviously it's improved since then because technology is inevitably going to do that all the time. But it's all Lucasfilm, it's all Disney, it's all their same shit. So like it makes sense. It's a natural evolution.
What's crazy
where
though
they're going
is someone with a fucking just a YouTube page is gonna fucking take that and make it look like a million times better, which is fucking nuts.
Sure,
it's gonna come out like 6 months from now, like updated deepfake for freaking Harrison Ford, and it's like, what the fuck? This is crazy.
The thing that I always try to give like a slight caveat to, right, is that like the person doing it for the movie
has as much time as they need.
No.
Oh, for the movie, not, I mean, just the regular person.
Yes, the regular person can do that shit night and fucking day. Make it look as good as they want because it's a personal passion project. Somebody who does it for a movie is held to a time constraint. They're also, so like, I get it. I understand the like fun headline article of like, YouTube, small-time YouTuber does better than Disney. It's like, no, if you gave the professional as much time as this dude probably did for YouTube, he could probably make it look miles
way better. Yeah, exactly.
But it's just studio constraints that make this type of shit happen.
Yeah, the only time it looked Mads obviously was awesome, and he always makes a great like villain / antagonist.
Yeah,
like,
he really does.
I feel like there's never a time when that I'm like, oh, this fool fucking sucked in this movie. Like even in like getting thrown in the Fantastic Beasts franchise at the last movie, he was fucking great.
No,
like he's a world class actor. Like, you know, can't fucking
Mads Mikkelsen is a boss.
Yeah. The backdrop of like 1969 and the whole like going to the moon and everything, I thought was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Movie, I would say definitely too long. 2 hours and 20 minutes. Don't need 2 hours and 20 minutes of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I think it's a little long. I think a little over 2 hours is fine.
I think 205 is like a good sweet spot, you know?
Yeah, I would even give it like 210. Like most of the old Star Wars movies are right around there, like 210 to 215, which I'm fine with. I think.
Did we choose these?
I don't remember. Let's do it now just in case. I thought I saw like a 234 runtime when I checked it out, which I think is definitely too long. Where it was, I felt a little long. I wasn't. It didn't like hurt my viewing experience in any way though. Like the telltale sign for me of a long movie is like, damn, I'm checking my watch to see how much longer this shit has.
See, I was kind of doing that.
Okay, I didn't. So for me, I was fine.
Because I feel like there are some points where you get in like super crazy action and then it like slows down a lot, and there's a lot of like exposition, dialogue, and stuff like that, which I'm never mad at. But it's like, it's weird when you're just changing paces like that, and you're just like, boom, super crazy. Like the beginning was awesome, super crazy action, but then it like slows down,
chills. Yeah,
it's like chills out like a lot, you know. Which obviously you need to give time to show us where Indiana Jones is at in his life and stuff like that. But just saying, it was definitely cheesy at times, but I think like it was never trying to be more than what it was. Like it knew exactly what it was trying to be.
That's part of the franchise. Yeah,
it's part of the franchise. Like it knows like what an Indiana Jones movie is, and it was like, all right, cool, this is what it is. So I never felt like, oh, like this feels out of place. Like it's cheesy, but it's like this is the caveat of like the movie. Like this is what like
that's part of what Indy's like.
Exactly. Yeah. Time travel was cool.
I thought it was a fun idea of time travel.
It was a fun idea. I think I would have liked to have seen it a little bit more in the beginning to feel the stakes a little bit more. Because to me, like the whole time, it's just like they're just chasing after this fool like this whole time, and like I don't understand like obviously time travel is time travel. We know what it is, right? But I think in the context of the movie, just give me a little bit to understand like the stakes of the movie. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, they're just chasing after some shit that they don't know if it turns back time or not. Like it is just what it is. You know?
I think so that right there, I think is because that worked great for me. But I think that's because I've seen all the other Indiana Jones movies, which is that every single movie is Indy comes across some artifact that he just wants to put in a museum because he's an archaeologist or whatever, right? Professor of the shit. But he is chasing after some kind of ghost phantom myth legend thing or whatever until the very end. So like for me that was fine because I knew like personally, I was like, oh fuck, this is intense. They're gonna fucking time travel at the end of this movie. Like even though they make it ambiguous of like, oh, did this work? Does this not? It's like I'm like, no, I've seen Indiana Jones. I know they're gonna fucking time travel. Of course they are. So like, I think if you have the expectations of what like the format of an indie movie is, it works better because you know that's coming, right? But I get it. Like that's like Indiana Jones thing. Is it's like I also think it's slightly purposeful and like meant to be like a device to put you in the shoes of Indy, which is that like, yeah, he does experience all these crazy supernatural things that happen, but for the most part, he's relatively grounded. Like he's like, this is bullshit. We would never be able to fucking time travel. Like your dad was crazy or whatever. And that's like, I think it's meant to be like a vehicle for the audience. So that when you do time travel at the end,
it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, fuck, this was real the whole time. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like a myth or a legend or something like that.
Maybe I'm just so used to the formula of like, okay, we see a little bit of like,
it's a Spider-Verse or like multiverse type of thing where they show you right off the bat, like, oh, this is what happens if you fuck shit up or whatever. Yeah, no, it is different. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was fucking fun. Obviously the whole a lot of the cameo stuff that maybe you and Diggs and your dad and your grandpa like were like, oh shit, like I didn't get the satisfaction of that, but I don't think it's integral to the enjoyment of the movie.
No, I don't think so either.
Like I don't think this movie like hinders too much on the nostalgia aspect of it, other than like, hey, this is an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah,
you know, like I don't feel like Antonio Banderas' character, I'm assuming, is like a character that's from.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he was.
You don't.
Let me double check, but I don't remember seeing Antonio Banderas in any other Indiana Jones movies.
But like there were other characters, other characters that were from.
Oh, for sure, most definitely.
So like I didn't like. In the whole grand scheme of Indiana Jones, I didn't get the satisfaction of being like, oh fuck, there's that dude. But as just a regular moviegoer, like I was like, oh, this is obviously some dude from his past or whatever that he knows, and like, cool, this is awesome. He's just meeting up with the homie. So like, it was cool for that. I thought the action was cool again. Time traveling was pretty awesome. I thought it was pretty unique. Yeah, a unique way of time travel that I personally hadn't seen in any movie before. It was pretty nice. I would give it like. I'd give it like a 7.7.
Okay.
Like it was fun. Wasn't my favorite movie, but it's not like my least favorite movie. Also, like I would definitely sit down and like watch it again for the fun of the movie. The action was fucking sick. Obviously the beginning when they're fucking with that big ass fucking gun and like just getting hella Nazis that are just fucking dying. Like that shit was fucking cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I would give it like a pretty strong 8. I don't know if it would like quite hit a 9 for me. Like probably an 8 or an 8.5 or something like that. But yeah, I think the couple extra points that I get for it is probably the nostalgia factor. But beyond that, I do think that it is like it's fresh action in a way that I personally want, right? Which is like something like John Wick, I would also consider fresh, but that's fresh because of the like technical side of the action, right? Yep. I like this because to me this is fresh because of the creative ideas behind the action, right? Like it's a fun scenario for a Gatling gun to be going off without a manned person on a train that's like hitting every fucking car. Like that's a creative, unique scenario to put a non-superpowered individual in, right? Like obviously Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, whatever. But for people who are not, right, that's cool. I like seeing chase scenes again, whether it's foot or car chases. I like punches having weight to them. Yeah. Like you hear like a fat fucking like bah, like smack sound to him, you know, like
very classic.
It feels very classic to me, and I love it. And like in today's age, where I think action is trying to become like more and more technical, of like, let's see how far we can push, like the boundaries of like an action sequence or whatever. I'm glad to see somebody who says, okay, that's cool, but we have the base tools here. How can we be creative with what we have? And I like it a lot. I think the action in the movie is like for sure one of the best parts about it. I think it has a lot of heart to it, For sure. There's like the Dial of Destiny thing worried me at first. I was a little bit scared about like introducing time travel to Indiana Jones, but I think they did a really good job of it.
They did it tastefully.
Yeah, for sure. Because you don't. It doesn't happen. It only ever happens once.
Yep.
That's it. It happens one time, and the way that it happens again is like pretty unique, at least as far as like the recent idea of what time travel is, which is that like they have this ancient device that is essentially a compass that points them towards these cracks in time that occur naturally.
That was cool.
Yeah,
that was super fucking cool.
in the like fabric of time space or whatever. And so they literally just fly through a storm into this opening in this shit with the like planes, and they end up in ancient Greece or whatever it is, right? Which is cool. I like that. I thought they did a really good job with that. Yeah, again, like acting all around, I thought was pretty solid. There was nobody who I think didn't bring it in the capacity that they needed to, which was really good. Again, like all of the nostalgic shit hit pretty good for me. I think one of the major factors for me was that like I didn't really remember how much I loved Indiana Jones until I watched this movie. I was because I didn't watch any of them leading up to it either, but obviously I have a history with them. I watched them a bunch as a kid. And so when I watched this movie, there was for sure like I think at least like 2 times where I teared up, where I was like, fuck.
Hell
like it's fucking indie, bro.
That's
like
the mark
son
of a
of
good
a
movie.
bitch. Yeah, yeah. So it was good shit. Like I was super, super down. I was surprised by how excited I was by the movie. I was I was happy overall. I think it's pretty good. I'll say I'll alter my rating a little bit, and I'll say I give it a straight up 8.5.
Nice.
It's like almost a 9 for me. It's pretty good.
Nice. Did you from the perspective of someone who has a lot of history with the Indiana Jones franchise, did you feel like it was, if this is a bookend, did you feel like it was a nice bookend to boom, Indiana Jones? Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like there's like a personal thing for me, right? But like I honestly thought it would have been pretty cool for like this character who's been chasing after history his entire life to end his life in the past. I would have been okay if they left Indy in like ancient Greece or whatever.
Yeah.
But I forget who said it when we were like having our little chat afterwards. Like he would have fucked up the time space
Oh,
continuum
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So I get it. I get why they didn't do it. That's fine. But I do like that idea a lot, right? Of like this character whose entire motivation is like chasing after the preservation of history. There's a lot of articles and arguments out there nowadays in like a postmodernistic society.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, I tried.
Throwing it back to last
yeah.
episode.
Oh yeah. That will attempt to tear down the idea of Indiana Jones. And I get it. He's a white guy essentially stealing artifacts from, long slumbering tombs and places and stuff like. I get it. Whatever. That's fine. He's fucking fictional though. He's not really stealing real shit.
It's Disney.
It's Disney. So I don't care personally that much. I don't give a fuck. It's fine with me. So the fact that this character who has been chasing after the preservation of history his entire like life, getting a chance to actually revisit a actual historic time place, like when it would happening and shit, I thought was fucking awesome. That was one of the parts where I was like, holy shit. Like that was definitely like a, oh fuck, this is dope moment for me for sure.
Yeah. I thought what was super sick in the terms of like the time travel was the fact that when you have the dial, you can't just go wherever you want in time.
No.
Like the fucking, what was the dude's name?
Archimedes.
Archimedes made it specifically for help. So when you got it in the future, you would come back to that specific point in time and help them out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because the other thing too is it's like I think if as far as I understood, I think maybe not like perfectly accurately to where you can go wherever you want, but I think you can use it as like a general time frame of where you want to go. If Mads Mikkelsen's character, I forgot what he's called, Jerkoff and Nazi Man.
Yeah.
If he was not as arrogant as he was, I think he would have gone back to 1940s Germany. Because I think the dial itself does give you the ability to pinpoint where you want to go. But the big turning point, right, is that Indy says it, where he's like, Archimedes never knew about continental drift. Right? Which is the fact that the Earth moves and points on the Earth move over these hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years. And he was so arrogant in thinking that his plan was perfect that he didn't compensate for that. And so when he does so, I think they do accidentally go back to the. It's very convenient at that point, but it's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know that Archimedes specifically designed the dial to be that like you're gonna come back here and give me the dial so I can figure out how to make the dial or whatever it is, right? I don't think that's how it was. I think it's that Mads Mikkelsen fucked up, and he was like, "Oh shit, Indy was fucking right. I didn't think about this like X factor or whatever, and now we're screwed. We're going back to like ancient Greece or whatnot." That was a little bit like MacGuffin to me, because like. Oh, like they're not going back to 1940s. Where are they gonna go? Oh, it's back to the very first invention of the thing. Like they go back to the guy or whatever, right? Like that's fine. Like I don't really care. It's cool. It's whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, I think that like with the proper preparation, you can use the dial to go to different points in time. Because you can use the math to calculate where it's supposed to go and whatnot if you compensate for the continental drift or whatever the fuck it was. You know what I mean? Yeah, whatever the fuck it was. It seems like a story plot device to me anyways. For whoever out there is actually like mathematicians and scientists and stuff like that, you can let us know if it's possible to do that type of shit with the theories and stuff that they have out there. But yeah, it definitely felt like a plot device to be like, oh no, you're not going back to where you thought. Let's go back to the origin of where it was all created or whatever. But it was still cool. I still really liked it. Again, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of this movie just felt like fresh.
Yeah,
which is interesting for like a legacy movie. Like oftentimes, like legacy movies don't necessarily like feel fresh. It's just like, you're just kind of doing what they did like, in the past. And not to say like, obviously I didn't watch them, so I don't know if they did like. I don't know if you can watch it and be like, oh, fuck, they did that in the first fucking Indy. But it seems like a type of movie where it's hard to just be like, to stray away from what Indiana Jones is. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
But like the action felt fresh. The take on time travel like felt fresh and stuff like that. So it was nice. It was a nice fucking movie.
No, I think so too. I think in like a time where we're so like overflowed with action and time travel movies, honestly, having a movie that felt like it was made as an action and time travel movie, but from like the 80s is refreshing. Yeah. Like it's almost the conversation we were having off camera before, right? Where like, it's not necessarily a brand new, unique thing, but because everything else around us right now is so samey, and they decided to go back to what would have been fresh and original in that time, it feels fresh to us.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but it's good still. That's not like a slight or anything like that. Like I still enjoy it very much for what it was. I mean that as a compliment. But yeah, it's good. I thought it was really good. The one thing that I did want to bring up, and I talked about it in like the little chit chat we had afterwards, is it's like, I do want to give James Mangold a little bit of fucking shit. Because he's talking mad trash about Deadpool 3 bringing Wolverine back. And he's like, I'm pretty sure I saw a quote where he literally said on the red carpet for this movie, like, some people should just learn to let some things die. And it's like, okay, buddy, but you're making a fucking Indiana Jones 5 after the last one flopped and everybody was done. So, like, relax a little bit.
Maybe he's just sad because he's not directly involved with bringing him back.
I get it, yeah. But
But yeah, it's just like what do you mean?
Bro.
What do you mean, dude?
Come on, dude.
Come on.
Relax.
Look at what you're fucking doing.
Even Logan was beating a dead horse. There was how many fucking X-Men movies at that point? You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. It's okay.
It's fucking great.
Don't worry.
But you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie was fucking. It's interesting seeing like Harrison Ford playing like this, just a grizzled old man.
Yeah.
No, you know, like, and he plays it really fucking well. And Shrinking, and in this. Too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
it's kind of crazy how have you watched more of Shrinking?
I've only seen 2 episodes. One is like later on in the season because I was just watching one with Ev, and then I've seen the first episode.
It's interesting, kind of just like how almost similar he is, and just like he's like.
Well, I think Harrison Ford is one of those actors that like doesn't need to act very much. Yeah, you know what I mean, like.
But he kind of just like seems the same though.
That's what I mean though. Is it's like he's not really acting too hard in any of these franchises that he's in. Harrison Ford is just such a like charming, charismatic, grumpy personality that like you can just stick him in anything and he can just be himself and he fucking works.
You're like, oh, we need a grumpy person. Yeah, let's get Harrison.
Whether it's Star Wars as Han Solo, this is Indiana Jones.
Let's get Mr. Ford in it.
Yeah, no, he just works. He's one of those people that like constantly fucking works. I think, you know, I would be, if any project ever was like, we're gonna add Harrison Ford in there as like the grumpy dude. I'm like, cool, I'm fucking sold. Give it to me. I'm ready.
I'm here for it. I love
every
it.
single time.
I fucking love it.
He's got it down.
But yeah, this movie was fucking.
It's good shit.
It was pretty sick, dude.
I had a good time.
Yeah,
it was really fun.
Yeah. Again, as someone who has never seen the Indiana Jones movie, I feel like you don't need to see all of them to watch this movie. Like, if you want to just go into it fresh, I think you're good.
I think that's a testament to how good this particular movie is.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, whether you decide to watch this one before or after, you should still go back and watch the other movies.
Yeah, 100%.
I recommend that to you as well.
I'm definitely gonna go do that
original
because
trilogy's
that made me want to do it.
Yeah.
Like after I watched it, I was like, okay, yeah. I want to go back and watch.
The originals.
It's just funny because my parents were like, or at least my mom was like, "What, wrong? Like, how did you not watch them?" I'm like, you never showed me Indiana Jones.
Sure,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And like as I got older, it's not something that I'm gonna be like,
it was on your checklist.
Yeah, let me just go watch Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, it is. It is for sure one of. I mean, it's Steven Spielberg first of all, which like one of the greatest filmmakers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people would. And it's just like classic Steven Spielberg too. Like the fucker was good, man, to like a different level, especially back then in the 80s. And those movies are for sure some of the best. I honestly, one thing I thought about what the whole time we were watching the movie was that I was like, fuck, man, like why did they not just let Disney, whoever, James Mangold, whoever was in charge of like keeping the feel of this movie? I was like, this is what the fuck Uncharted should have been.
Mm-hmm.
I was so sad, honestly, when I was watching, because I was like, fuck, this is what fucking Uncharted needs to be right here, dude. Like, it's fine. That other movie's fine. It's whatever. We're not gonna get into that one too much.
Yeah, I think just with Uncharted, it has the whole thing of like just being a video game adaptation, which but it's not hard to just be like, oh, watch Indiana Jones and this is what Uncharted could be. Well, but it's like trying to make it its own thing.
Yeah, I get it. The weird thing is it's like those games are just
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, so it's like, fuck, just make a fucking Indiana Jones
But yeah,
movie.
that's the thing, is like trying to differentiate yourself from like being we're not Indiana Jones.
I get it, yeah, definitely. No, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But I think that's just, I don't know. Like, if you look at, I think that's just the times now of like not wanting to be associated with everything. When like you go back to like the 80s and stuff like that, when people were making similar fucking movies, but it was just about who can make the better movie out of the two, you know? And
it's
like,
all right.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger talks about that with like, or I think it was Sylvester Stallone talking about that, like him and Arnold had like this competitive like relationship with these action movies of like, all right, who can make the better fucking action movie? And like, cool, they're fucking similar movies,
but they're both great though.
Yeah, they're both great. Like they can. So I think that's just one of the that's one of the things we've lost about the times
nowadays.
Like,
I think. I mean, the only
just
thing,
the competing franchises. Everybody wants to be the one of like, we are the action movie, right? But it's just like, no, I think.
It's just a different time.
Yeah, it's just a different time.
It's just a different time. We've the other thing too is it's like the teams behind it are not because like
as connected.
No, yeah, 100%. Like all randomly, the quote that's coming to mind to me is, you know who George Carlin is?
I don't.
George Carlin's a comedian.
Okay.
Great comedian.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, you should definitely look up some of his stuff. He's funny, but he's also very, very like political. And one of like the jokes that he made, like I think back in the day, because if I'm remembering the clip correctly, he's like a little bit younger still.
Yep.
And he's like making jokes about capitalism, but also talking some truth about it, which is that like
about postmodernism.
Yeah, bro. Which is that like the true fuck, how do I say this? The true like the true point of capitalism is a combination of competition.
Damn, this is so much better.
Yeah, it feels like comfortable, this? Right? Isn't it insane? Isn't it insane?
Wow. Yeah, we honestly, we need to hurry up
for
and
sure.
get the ones
Invest
like
in the clip mics. Yeah. So the true like nature and like success of like capitalism, according to George Carlin. I don't want to get too political here.
No, this is the political. This is a political podcast.
The PP. Okay, back on track. Is that capitalism is based off of both competition and collaboration, which is that like you're competing with each other to be the best, but there's also a certain level of like sharing in that like, okay, we all agree that this is like the best way to do something. Who can do that thing the best? Which like makes sense for those old 80s action movies, right?
Yeah.
Versus like nowadays, I think capitalism in general, but also that in regards to movies has like lost the collaboration aspect of things, where there's like these very intense rivalries that are not sharing, that are not collaborative, right? It's like, no, if you're a DC fan, you're a fucking DC fan. You're a Marvel fan, you're a Marvel fan, and those things do not mesh. And then beyond that, I think part of the like creative like process of like birthing the DC came in a direct opposition of Marvel, right? Marvel was this happy-go-lucky, jokey, funny thing or whatever, and DC responded with being like, no, we're gonna be dark and broody, and things are super intense and sad all the time. And
dark.
Yeah, versus like,
I lost my parents.
Yeah.
You lost your parents?
Yeah, I lost mine harder. They died worse than your parents did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I think
I watched my parents die.
Exactly. Had that like collaborative process been involved in that, like those things might have come out a little bit differently, you know? And so
very true. So
yeah, you know, I forgot where we started getting on this train or whatnot, but
neither do I. Oh, just I don't know either.
Anyways, collaboration and competition can coexist is what I'm trying to say. And I think it's important to creating good pieces of anything, art, in terms of what we're talking about right now, movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, guys, go check out Indiana Jones in theaters. I think it's a great family movie too. Like, go and take out, if you got kids, go and take the kids to fucking watch this. This is awesome. Sure. I think kids might have a fun time with it. Obviously, it is 2 hours and 20 minutes, so
a little long for kids.
Yeah,
like
if
little
your kids can't sit through 220, like probably just wait till this comes out on streaming, you know, to sit down and watch it. But it's a fun movie.
It
is.
Know?
If you guys want to go out, you got nothing to do, want to go watch Indiana Jones, I think you guys will have fun. You know, go have a couple drinks, go to your local cinema and have a few drinks and watch this movie. It's definitely a fun time.
It is
definitely a fun time for sure. Dude, I've been a big nacho guy at the movie recently.
Oh yeah. Nachos are honestly, over the years, my mom has made nachos at home quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a little tired of nachos. Personally, I don't. It's not the first thing that like I flock to when I see them on some kind of menu.
It used to mean like I used to not do that either, but I don't know what it is. Like recently, like
they've been hitting again.
They've just been hitting, bro.
Okay.
Yeah. And then at the fucking theater in Salinas, I had the freaking hot Cheetos with
and nacho cheese. That I'm fucking down with. That was fire.
Dude. That was crazy. I walked in, and I was already fucking baked, obviously. And I walk in, get my ticket. I'm like, all right, let me just get a water.
Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning. Don't really want to overwhelm my stomach with crazy shit at this time of the day. You know, it's just starting to wake up itself. I don't want to bombard it with anything nuts. But as I'm walking past, like, the little fucking stand that they have where they keep all the hot items, you know, I see these boxes with nacho cheese, and where there should be just regular salted tortilla chips, you know, whether they be Tostitos or whatever your preferred brand is, there was bags of Takis and hot Cheetos.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And I saw that, and I immediately, like, stood and stared at them for a solid, like, 7 seconds and contemplated very hard in my brain, do I do this to myself right now?
Yeah.
And at first I was like, nah, I'm good. So I paid for my water, went and sat in my theater. Luckily, I was there at least like 5 to 7 minutes before the actual preview started. So it was just the regular movie theater advertisements that were going, you know, whether they be like streaming advertisements or whatever. And I was sitting there and I just couldn't get the hot Cheetos and nacho cheese out of my head.
Yeah, it's good shit.
I was like, fuck, bro.
It's a classic snack.
Sat through a freaking preview. Kept thinking about it. Sat through another preview and I was like, damn, do I have time? And I was like, yeah, I got time. So I walked out, got those motherfuckers, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life.
Yeah, it's good shit.
It was fucking awesome.
Hot Cheetos and nacho cheese is fire. I also am a big fan of hot Cheetos and cream cheese.
I still can't wrap my mind around that.
Have you tried it?
I haven't, but I just can't wrap my head around it.
Just give it a shot first. She's gone.
Fuck it. But yeah,
give it a shot before you discount it. Because I was the same way for a long time, literally forever and ever and ever. I was like, I don't understand why you would want to do that. And then Ev was like, nah, fuck you, you're gonna try this. Bought hot Cheetos, bought some cream cheese one day. I've been addicted ever since.
See,
bro.
it was funny. I was telling her about the bear and how how she doesn't like the bear basically.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't understand it. Like, you like food.
Yeah.
I was like, you like food.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't want to watch a show. I mean, not that it's not about food.
I was
going to say, it's about food,
to
right?
be fair, I don't think it's a food show.
No,
it's
not
a drama.
Sure. But there's food in there. That keeps you interested.
There is.
But it was just I was like, fuck, you like food. You don't want to watch a show.
Are you not
food?
down with this?
Yeah. But all right, guys, let's move on to
our
final
talking point.
Motherfucking invasion. Something I don't want to say like been waiting on forever, but every time the conversation of Secret Invasion comes around, I'm like, oh yeah, that's supposed to come out. I'm excited.
I think it was kind of like it was one of those things where like we didn't really know what it was until maybe like 6 months to a year ago. Because I think like the first official trailer for the show dropped around that time frame. And it wasn't until then that I understood like, oh shit, this is like a Nick Fury show. This is not about like a grand Marvel universe spanning idea of like who's a Skrull and who's not. This is like a Nick Fury centered show.
Well, I wouldn't say it's not that.
Well, I think I bring that up in the sense that in comparison to what Secret Invasion was in the comic books, we're not seeing like, holy fuck, Captain America was a Skrull the whole time, or like, holy shit, so was Iron Man, or so was this person. What was it's more of like, I find it to be actually very similar to Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay.
And that I think it's a pretty political show. There are a lot of topics of, I think so far from what I've understood, there's a lot of this idea of like a secret, the man controlling things behind the scenes. In this show, obviously it's fantasized to being the Skrulls, but I think it has precedence in what we're talking and what happens in the nowadays. And there's also a lot of like talk about people of color in power and what those responsibilities are in that sense, right? You hear that a lot between like Rhodey and Nick Fury. Yeah. So I do think it's a pretty political show. Oh yeah. It's a political spy thriller is how I would like classify it.
The thing is, I think you can do spy without politics, but I think it's hard to not like intertwine those two.
Sure.
So it doesn't like
it lends to it.
It lends to it exactly. Where I feel like Falcon and the Winter Soldier wasn't necessarily like the most like spy thriller type show.
It was it was more like terror.
Yeah.
Involved, like terrorist.
Yeah. But yeah, I can definitely see there's definitely a lot more like political things going on in this show. But yeah, I fucking these first 2 episodes I've been loving.
It's really good.
I'm loving the fuck out of this shit.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good so far.
Obviously, by the time this episode comes out, there'll be a 3rd episode, and I'm sure we'll probably like that shit, or maybe we won't. But
who knows?
The first 2 episodes have been pretty fucking awesome. Definitely more than what I would have expected from the show, especially from what we've gotten from Marvel. Not that it's been bad, but it's like has been the best. You know?
I think I mean like I've been talking about this a lot recently, but like I have tried my best recently to bring like versus dislike down to a matter of opinion rather than things being good versus bad. Yeah. Because for me personally, I have enjoyed the majority, if not all, of the Marvel TV shows. I think for me, Disney Plus TV shows have been fucking awesome all around. I love Miss Marvel. I love WandaVision. I love Moon Knight. I love Loki. I love What If. I love She-Hulk. I love this. I love all of it. I think it's all pretty good. But I do understand the flaws that people bring up with them. They just don't bother me so much to go so far as to like make me dislike the shows, which I think is interesting when it comes to this one. Because I think if you had to take like, we're very early on, so we don't know how it's all going to wrap out, right? But I would think if you had to take an objective approach to it, I think it's one of the more well done Marvel movies, but it does not have as much support behind it as one might expect, right? Which
we talked about it a little bit last week, but like
fans just don't know what they want. Man.
Yeah, dude, like people. I think we said it a little bit last week at the end of the Wes Anderson episode, but it's like people can't fucking make up their mind about what they want. Like stuff's too much on the cheesy, like jokey, funny side. And all right, cool. When we get to something like this that in its own right, like has some cheese, like some funny moments, but it's like
pretty serious though.
Pretty serious, and people are like, no, I don't fucking like this.
This is bullshit too. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean, bro? Yeah. What do you want? Yeah. Like, I love this like shit, and this. I mean, this is just me personally. Like, I love shit like Andor, and this feels like the Andor of the Marvel universe. Yeah, something that is a little bit more serious, a little bit more political, a lot more dialogue driven, not a lot of like not super crazy action going on, you know, but. Dude, I've just been loving the fuck out of this just because it's just filled with world-class actors, bro. Mm-hmm. You have fucking Samuel L. Jackson. You have the homie that's playing Talos. You have fucking...
Ben Mendelsohn.
Exactly. You have fucking... You have all these fucking people, bro, and you're letting them... You have fucking... Fucking... Oh, my gosh. I was saying Rhodey's name in my head.
Don Cheadle?
Don Cheadle. Yes. Yeah. Fuck. God damn it. You have all these people that they're letting them...
do their
act. Yeah. They're letting them do the thing. They're letting them act their fucking ass off, and I think this helps the show so fucking much. So fucking much.
No, yeah, I think it's pretty darn good. Like
television movies.
Obviously, we haven't seen all of it, so I can't give a definitive like ranking on it so far. I don't think it's gonna top Loki. I don't think it's gonna top a couple other Marvel shows for myself personally either. But I am very excited.
Which other ones?
For me, I think Moon Knight is very good, and I think WandaVision is very good. I love both of those shows very much. I think they're very good. But I also really like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think you need to... You never even finished that, did you?
I did finish it.
Oh, okay.
And I need to rewatch it.
I think you should rewatch it. I think it's very good. But anyways, regardless, that we're not talking about the rest of them. I do think this has the potential to be in like the upper echelon of Marvel shows for myself personally. I don't know what the general public thinks about it right now. I am having a blast. I think that in the same way that Indiana Jones was refreshing, I think this is as well. Like them deciding to make any action sequences that they have very like spy thriller, you know? Kind of like foot chases trying to stop a bomb or like trying to catch a fucking the scroll or this or that or whatever. Is cool. I like it. I like that it's not relying on like super powered action sequences. Not that I dislike super powered action sequences. I fucking love them to death. I'm super down with them. But it's again just refreshing to see something different. I think it's cool, and I think they're doing a good job.
Yeah, it always goes back to the conversation of us that we always have, like doing more with less. You know, like. Okay, you don't have yet you don't have like super crazy superpowered beings. So like, what are we gonna do? Like, how can we make the action a lot more compelling? And I think they do a really fucking good job, like you said, with the chase scenes, like the dialogue beforehand, making it very tense and stuff like that. Like, it's pretty fucking nuts, dude. Like, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's definitely again like you have these world class actors, and they're letting them. Like, they're putting them on display and showing them why, showing us why they're fucking world-class actors. Especially, like, in the second episode when we see Nick Fury and Rhodey, like, having that back and forth. Like, that shit's crazy, bro. That's some of, like, the best dialogue that we've gotten in, like, the MCU in, like, such, like, a long time. And, like, these people going back and forth. And, like, it's fucking great, man. Obviously, you have Olivia Colman, who plays freaking, what's her name?
I think it's Sonya.
Yeah. Sonya, she's fucking hilarious, but she's like
scary too.
She's scary too.
The last episode showed it for sure.
Oh my gosh, that show was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
she was great, bro.
Yeah, no, yeah, she's really good. I agree. I think a lot of the actors are pretty darn good. I am not like, for me personally, I don't think this is like world class acting in regard to the rest of the movie. Landscape. Marvel for sure. I think some of the best stuff that we're getting, right? But like I think there does have for me personally, I put this little buffer on like, okay, we live in our own little world when it comes to superhero stuff. So like when somebody does bring it a little bit more, a little bit better, it is very, very good. And I do appreciate that they're like giving people a chance to shine. I will say that like the one thing that I would like Marvel to try is to be a little more subtle. As much as to give one criticism to the show so far, right? To both this one and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is that like as much as I do love the political ideas behind them and especially the conversations about like race in them, I love it for what it is. It's perfectly fine, but in my ideal world, I would appreciate if they were a little more subtle because the message is not missed, I would say, in terms of what they're trying to talk about, right? Not that that's a bad thing, but it is pretty jarring for the last thing you saw of Nick Fury to be getting dusted by Thanos and going, oh, motherfucker, right? To switching up to him being like help a brother out, man. Like we're two black men and this and that and blah blah blah. We need to stick together for this. It is jarring. It's a super quick shift from like, okay, Nick Fury's like a super dope super spy shield guy to okay, now Nick Fury is like this ideal for like a political figure of spy stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? So it is good still. I'm not saying it as like a knock. It's just ideally I would appreciate if Marvel would exercise a little bit more subtlety. Because when they do come to political messaging,
they're like, "Hey, this is what we're talking 100%.
about." 100%, and that's fine. It's fine. It's Disney, right? Of course they're not gonna cut corners with it. They're not gonna sugarcoat it, or whatever. They're just gonna get straight down to business. But
it's nice when you can be like, when you can step back and be like, "Oh, okay," like analyze it a little bit and be like, "Okay, this is what they're talking about here," instead of them like.
In a show that is
just telling you what it is.
In a show that has decided to attempt to be a little more nuanced, I would like if their messaging, quote unquote, would be a little more nuanced as well.
I agree.
But it's a very small pet peeve. I still really enjoy what they're doing. I still really like the message they're sending. I think that the show is super cool. Again, I like I will say this. I am slightly nervous for where the show continues to go because they are very obviously going to introduce the Super Skrull. And once that happens, I think there's potential for superhero action shenanigans to come back into play.
Yeah.
Which might kind of throw off the tone that they've established in these first couple episodes. The other thing, too, that I know you and I have gone back and forth on a little bit, I am not personally going to be very satisfied if they tell me that somebody that we have seen for the last 10 years is a Skrull. I think it's a pretty meaningless reveal. I think it's stupid. I think it's a hat trick, and I would not like it.
But what people are you like grouping together in like the group of people that you would not like to see them like being a Skrull?
Anybody in the Infinity Saga. If you tell me that any one person that I have been watching who I thought was that character for the last 10 years of Marvel, and you just tell me that they're a Skrull, like, because, okay, here's the thing. Rhodey, fine. I guess. But my caveat is that Rhodey somewhere along the line after Civil War. For me, I know I heard it too.
What was that?
Something. For me, if you're going to reveal Rhodey as a Skrull, sometime after Civil War is when I would personally be okay with like, okay, he was overtaken, they trapped him somewhere, and there's a Skrull who's been posing as Rhodey the entire time. I think it is ridiculously fucking meaningless for them to say, oh, fucking this dude from the Avengers or from the Guardians or whatever has been a Skrull the whole time, because they're not going to get him back. You're not going to see a single Avenger on this show. You're not going to see a single fucking Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. on this show. You're not going to see anybody from the Grand Marvel Universe appear in this show. So I think it's like a super meaningless reveal that is purely for shock value. And for me, would kind of fuck up what they have going on right now. I'd be pretty upset if they told me that, like, again, even Rhodey is a hard pill for me to swallow. Like, I'd be kind of pissed if they're like, oh yeah, Rhodey's been a Skrull the whole fucking time. It's like, all right, well, that's bullshit, because he's been a really crucial friend to Tony Stark at multiple different points. He's almost fucking died sacrificing himself for the Avengers. he's done all this, done all that, fought in the fucking Infinity Wars and Endgame. You're telling me all that time he was just doing it as a fucking act because he was a Skrull? Fuck that. Don't give me that shit. I don't want it.
I think the other thing, like, with the Skrull is, like, you can't just be like, oh, you're just doing that because you're a Skrull. Like, the Skrulls essentially now see Earth as their fucking home, right?
Yeah, sure,
so,
sure.
of course, the Skrull posing as Rhodey is going to go fight in, like, something like Endgame or something like that because that Skrull is trying to save Earth, right? And if he is tasked with the just the mission to pose as Rhodey to get closer to someone like Tony or someone like Cap or someone like that, like if you're in that position where Earth is fucking getting invaded by fucking Thanos, you have like, what are you gonna do? Just like go back and be like, oh sorry, bro.
Well,
like,
okay, so that I am down with, but the only problem that I have with that is that, like, with the way that this show is set up, as far as I understand, it seems to me that we know pretty much everything Skrull related and Skrull spy related from the good guys' point of view through Nick Fury and through Talos. So any reveals that would happen would be from the bad guy side, which I would not be cool with. Again, I like, that's the thing that I would be pissed off about, right? Is it's like, okay, I still wouldn't like it, but if you want to tell me that Rhodey fucking died, let's say Terrence Howard died somewhere in between Iron Man 1 and 2 for some stupid fucking reason, and a Skrull posing as Don Cheadle, who then became Rhodey, employed by Nick Fury, has been Rhodey this whole time, and it's actually been a Skrull, right? That's a little better. I still don't like it, but that's fine. But any true heavy reveals of Skrulls being other people that are going to happen now are going to be from Gravik's side, from the bad guy side of things, of like, oh, fuck, this person's been a double agent all along. And that I would not be happy with. If they try to, that's the part that I bring up of like, damn, everything they did is fucking meaningless. They were just playing an act the entire time. It's like, if Rhodey truly was a Skrull this whole time, there's no way Nick Fury wouldn't know that. And as far as I understand, it doesn't seem like Nick Fury is talking to another Skrull. When he's talking to them, it seems like he's talking to Fury. Because the way he interacts with Skrulls is very different. He like almost leans into their culture, right? Anytime we've seen him meet with other Skrulls, he does like the what I assume is a Skrull greeting, where they like touch heads. It's very intimate. It's very intense, right? He treats Rhodey like a human, like another human. So if that Rhodey is revealed to be a Skrull, I can only see that coming from Gravik's side of things, which I think would fucking suck. I think that'd be fucking lame, dude. If it's like, nope, Rhodey was a bad guy the whole time. He's just trying to help Gravik out and all this bullshit. I think that's lame. I don't like it personally. Any Skrull reveals that they will do in this show, I would appreciate if they keep it within the context of this show.
Yeah,
stuff that's set up like here and now.
I don't think they'll go outside of the show, just logistically speaking. Like, I think it is pretty far-fetched to be like, oh yeah, let's get like Captain America back in here and be like, oh yeah, Captain America was a Skrull the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they'll do something like that. I do think they'll keep it within the context of the show for sure. Yeah. And that's why I think they have someone like Rhodey in here. Like, I think Rhodey would be like almost the perfect candidate to be like, oh yeah, he's a fucking Skrull, because I think after Civil War is a good time to
say that,
like,
okay, real Rhodey got captured.
Yeah, because like he almost like died there, right? And then all of a sudden he's just walking good, you know?
Well,
like,
he has
the help, but then once you get to like Endgame, he's like, oh yeah, I'm chilling, you know? And it's like, how'd you do that? No.
See, I mean, again, I could see it. I just think it's weird. I think it's something that
it doesn't feel a little cop-out-ish.
It does,
you know. But I think that is also the like allure of like this whole like, because even in the comics, right? It was like, oh my god, fucking Spider-Woman was a fucking Skrull. Like, all these people were Skrulls. Yeah. So it's not like this absurd idea of like these big characters being Skrulls. But within the context, within the context of the MCU, it is a little. It's like logistically, it's
it doesn't make any sense
to do that.
No,
you know,
I think it's ridiculous.
But I think that is the whole thing about the show is like, these big characters being Skrulls and you just not knowing, and that being the whole thing of like the reveal, like holy fuck, these people were Skrulls the whole fucking time. This is fucking nuts.
See, because the thing that like comes to mind is like Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Mm-hmm.
You watch that entire movie, and you're under the impression that Nick Fury is the one helping Spider-Man, right? Recruiting Spider-Man to this job and everything like that. And the end of the movies comes. It's like, oh no, fuck, that was just Talos the entire time. Nick Fury's on Saber.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Nick Fury. It's a little meaningless. It kind of takes away from what I was hoping was the start of the relationship of Nick Fury and Spider-Man, which is a very important relationship in the Ultimate comic books, right? Mm-hmm. It takes away from that because it's like, no, this is not actually that character. This is just a Skrull impersonating that character as a means to an end. And I don't like that. That's like one of the few things I don't like about that particular movie, which is like, I get it. I know that's what like Secret Invasion is supposed to kind of be about, right? Is that like certain Skrulls, and in particular Super Skrulls, who have the ability to replicate powers and shit like that, are like posing as these big name figures and stuff. But I don't know. That's not what the show seems to even be about to me. So if they do pull that, I think not only does it like not resonate with me because I don't like it already, but B, I think it goes against what the show has already established too, which is like I think it is a smaller, not like, I don't want to say smaller stakes, right? But we in the Marvel universe, we've dealt with the extermination of half the universe, so a global threat is kind of small at this point, right? So it is smaller stakes compared to what we've dealt with already. You don't need the Avengers for this shit because they're probably fighting aliens in space or whatever the fuck it is, right?
We don't even have Avengers at this point.
We don't. Yeah, they're fucking gone. Yeah. But yeah, I just like, I wanted to stay this like smaller stakes thing that exists within this more like political worldly sphere of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agents of the Government and this and that, rather than like extending out into the Marvel Universe cast of characters that we've come to know. I don't know. If just for me personally, it's just not going to be very satisfying if they take that route. It seems like a cop out. It seems like a very hefty shock value at the time that has no substance to it. If you're like, this superhero that you followed for the last 4 or 5 years has been a Skrull the whole fucking time. It's like, in the moment, I'm going to be like, what? Holy shit, no fucking way. But then when I think about it too hard, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, so that was Skrull Rhodey doing this the whole time. Or that was Skrull Ant-Man doing this the whole time. Or that was Skrull this person doing that the whole time. It just takes away, I think, from a lot of the super heroic deeds that have been done by these characters over the course of the Infinity Saga. Post Blip, post Thanos, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. That's fine. But that's my embargo line. Don't touch the Infinity Saga. For me personally, that's my embargo line. If they do anything for any characters during the Infinity Saga that are Skrulls the entire time, I'm going to be like, oof. They're going to lose me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a bit much. I'm going to be like, okay, all right, whatever. You do your thing, guys, but that's not for me.
I mean, I see that. I don't, like, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with it just because I do like the whole, like, holy fuck. This person was just like, you know, like, I kind of like that because, I don't know. It's just, like, something that, I guess, like, when you're looking at the show, right, you wouldn't necessarily not expect it because I think the show is alluding to that a little bit, especially when Rhodey being like, yeah, I've known this shit for 15 years, and that puts it at the Iron Man 1 timeline, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if they're saying shit like that, they know fans are going to go back and be like, and do the math and be like, okay, when is this technically in the timeline of that? So I think they are alluding to that a little bit, but I don't know, like, I'm not the, like, I kind of like that. Like, just, I like the whole, like, peel the curtain back and, like, the person that you thought was the person the whole time isn't necessarily the person that you thought it was the whole time, you know?
I like it for the, okay, let me say this. Like, I like it for the context of the show that we're watching. But I think it completely ignores the grander, like, mythos of the rest of the MCU. Because you're right? The timeline that they put Rhodey in terms of knowing the Skrulls exist is Iron Man 1. So let's say they do reveal Rhodey to be a Skrull. that's fine within the context of the show and even with your memory of the other movies. But that means when I go back and watch Iron Man 2 and I see Don Cheadle fucking helping Iron Man, I'm going to be like, oh, fuck, that's a Skrull. Or when I see Civil War and I see Don Cheadle going to fucking war against Captain America, I'm like, oh, fuck, that's a Skrull. That's not Rhodey. That's just a Skrull. It has nothing to do with James Rhodes' fucking ideals. That's just a dude impersonating him. That just, like, takes out a lot of the oomph to his character. Like maybe they're willing to do it because Rhodey's not the most popular character, but I think it, like, character assassinates whoever they decide to reveal as a Skrull, because everything that they've done up to that point becomes an act. Like, whether or not the Skrulls are fighting for their own home or not, that is not Rhodey's motivations. That now becomes the Skrull impersonating Rhodey's motivations. You know what I mean? And so, like, that's just the part where I'm like, please, for the fucking love of God, don't. Like, I don't want to see it. I don't want it to happen.
Well, it also depends on
like when it happens.
When it happens,
Yeah.
right? Because I think if you make it happen in the middle when he is like has his own like Iron Man armor and stuff like that, it is a little bit harder to wrap your head around because he already has these ideals that he's formed while being in the Iron Man armor and stuff like that. Whereas if you do it before, right, before he even does that, you can just make it of like, this was a Skrull who's trying to get close to Tony Stark, who was trying to get his tech and stuff like that to help them and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like it. I don't like it because that means, because you have to think about it. Like, Rhodey is not just a dude who happened to get War Machine's armor. Rhodey is Iron Man's best fucking friend.
But
which means that
Iron
all
Man
this
also
time,
doesn't know about Skrulls.
No, that's fine. But that's what I'm saying is it's like, it's the within the context of the universe, cool, whatever. Iron Man's dead. But we're viewers watching this thing unfold in a story. Which means that if they make that reveal, Iron Man's best fucking friend is that the entire time we've seen Iron Man as a character, the most important character in the Marvel Universe. His best fucking friend, one of the people he trusted the most, was a fucking alien that was lying to him. I don't want it. I don't want it. I think, again, it serves the show very well. I think it does not take into consideration the grander history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think it would serve the show great, but at the same time, again, I think it would kind of fuck up a lot of what happens in Rhodey's shit going over the last 10 years.
I don't think it necessarily does, because you can just look at it from a different angle of like, yeah, maybe like he had a mission of like, okay, get close to Tony Stark because this fool's super smart. This fool has insane tech, and like maybe that could help us, blah, 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 blah. And like, yeah, maybe that's his mission, but maybe he does eventually just really become best friends with Tony Stark because he's forced to play this role.
Yeah.
Right? And like, I don't know, like I don't hate it because I think it is just like, Rhodey is this character that is just plays such a small part in the overall like saga and the universe of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe that it wouldn't make that big of an impact to me if it got revealed that he was like a Skrull. Like, I wouldn't be pissed about it. Like, if someone like a Tony Stark or Captain America was just a Skrull the whole time, it's like, what the fuck? Because those are pillars of the Avengers and of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Whereas Rhodey isn't necessarily that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just too much for me.
I feel you.
I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to see it. I hope it doesn't happen. Again, because the other reason why I bring it up is it's like, unless it's a reveal that they're keeping from the audience at this point, the only way that it would work for me is if it's a Skrull that Nick Fury has put into play to try and get closer to Tony Stark. But if we go the route of like, no, this is a reveal on Gravik's side, which I assume it would be, that means that this motherfucker has been posing as Rhodey, as a bad guy, as a dude who's trying to promote terrorism and eliminate human beings and take over the world for Skrulls. Which I think sucks. I think that's lame. Like, I think that's weird. And again, I think it's I honestly, like, I think any reveal that they do, even the Ross one threw me off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Bilbo Baggins actor
Yeah.
Ross, because it feels very much like it is purely done for shock factor. There's no story or character development that happens from making Ross a scroll in that opening sequence. I never took that opening thing to be that like, oh, Ross has been a scroll the whole time. I very much think that was a scroll impersonating Ross, trying to get information from this dude. I think real Ross still exists out there somewhere, right? But even still, it just feels like shock factor to me, and I don't want any scroll reveals to be purely for shock value. I want it to have like story context and story meaning. If they somehow reveal that like the survival of the scrolls or like the ability for them to thrive has been based off of the technology that they have gotten through Tony Stark because of this scroll impersonator that's been Rhodey, okay, cool. I think that's a little bit better, but I don't think any of that's gonna happen. I really do think that they're just gonna try to take somebody and be like, morph. I'm a green guy. I've been a green guy this whole fucking time. Haha, got you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see it being super deep if they take that route. And I want it to be that if they are going to do that with a major character. Because you're right. Like, Rhodey's not the most pivotal character to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but he is an important character nonetheless.
Yeah.
He's been a pretty big name since the first movie came out. So yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. If it happens, it's fine. If it doesn't, I'll be happier, but whatever.
Yeah, I think it all just depends on the time frame that they put it in, you know?
Yeah. If Rhodey just got captured in the last... If Rhodey got captured anytime after the blip, I'm gonna redo my embargo line. Anybody after the blip, cool. That's fine. I'll be okay with that. That's whatever. Because that makes a little more sense to me for a scroll to start impersonating somebody, right? But anything before that, anything, again, that touches, like, the stuff that's happening in the Infinity Saga, I feel like that's going to be taking away too much from what happened there.
I mean, yeah. But you also got to think, there was a million scrolls that got brought to Earth, and Nick Fury didn't even fucking know. He was surprised by that. So it's like, I don't see it so far-fetched that one of those 1 million scrolls that got brought to Earth got put in a position of, like, not necessarily a major Marvel character, but maybe like a B-lister or a C-lister that Nick Fury just doesn't fucking know about.
I don't know. I think it's a little while. I think a million...
Because I think it also plays into the ending of episode 2, right? When he comes in to his house and his wife's a scroll.
Yeah.
But you see the shot where she's chopping shit and she is a scroll, and then he walks in and she's not. It makes me wonder, like, does he know?
We went back and forth on this. I think he knows. I don't think he would. To me, Nick Fury doesn't seem like the type of character to settle down with anybody. And so the only reason why I was like kind of okay with it, because I still think it's weird. But the only reason why I was slightly more okay with that reveal was because to me it seems like, okay, he knows this is a scroll. They're part of the same mission. They have the same motivation. So yeah, they fell in love over the course of what was happening and shit like that. If she's lying to him and she's like, I'm just this pretty lady, like, or whatever that you met, like, where the fuck is he even gonna meet her? Nick Fury's not gonna meet some random person and fucking fall in love with them. That's, at least to me, that's not who Nick Fury is. He would fall in love with somebody on the job.
Granted, we just don't know too much about Nick Fury, though. Like, up until this point, we haven't known too much about him. That's fair. You know, we're very limited on the information that we have of Nick Fury in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? Like, away from, like, the comics and all that stuff. Yeah. So, I just think it's weird that we have a shot where she's chopping celery or whatever it is, and she's a scroll, and then he walks in, and she's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, if you fell in love with a scroll because you fell in love with the scroll, like, why does she feel the need to change her appearance when you walk into the house?
I mean, like,
whether that's like a personal thing, like, but it's just like,
well,
but it's like, why are you not chopping the celery as like your human form?
Okay,
right?
So like, let's take like a logical in-universe standpoint from it, right? the Skrulls, as we've learned from Gravik's side, which I assume is also the same on anybody trying to like impersonate people in Nick Fury's side, are required very heavily to stick in the form that they take when around other people in order to completely fully establish that alibi, right? So to me, it sort of makes sense that when she's alone and she knows there's nobody else around, that she would take her natural form. But when another person, regardless of whether it's her husband or not, she's going to take the precaution of being like, fuck, I need to put my disguise back on. Maybe this motherfucker's not Nick Fury. Like, I know Skrulls exist. I know people are trying to fuck with us and this and that or whatever. Like, we have to be careful enough to the fact that we can't let the, like, general other powers that be see that Nick Fury's interacting with Skrulls. I need to continue to, like, hold up this alibi. It makes sense to me.
Okay.
That she would switch back into, like, the human form of stuff when, like, getting together with old Nicky boy or whatever. You know, but like again, I think that'll be something that's pretty quickly revealed by the time episode 3 starts. I doubt they're just gonna gloss over that, so we'll probably like learn pretty quickly whether or not he knows she's a Skrull or not. But the like context that they give at the beginning of that episode, or maybe it's episode 1, I can't remember, where they are pretty tight already, it seems, in the operation of Skrulls in like the 90s. That makes me think that he fell in love with her. She decided to take a human form and keep in that human form. And they got married and stuff and this and that or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the most far-fetched thing, but I just think, like, it is just from a, like...
From an audience standpoint, it's kind of weird.
From an audience standpoint and also, like, a story, like, filming standpoint, like, why are you showing me a shot where she's a Skrull and then she comes in and she's not a Skrull? You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes me question that because there's no reason to, like, spend the money, right, to put someone in full makeup and have them in a shot where they're a Skrull and then have whether that's the same person in the makeup of the Skrull or not, like, to show up as just a regular person.
Yeah, sure.
Like, that is a hassle to go through in just a logistical, like, getting shit done standpoint on set. Like... The people that do that makeup have to sit and do that shit for hours. Yeah. Right?
It could also be...
So it's like, why are you going to spend hours to do that for just a little shot?
It could also be, like, purely intentional in the sense that, like, they want to let you know Nick Fury married a Skrull. Because if you walked in... Let's say the rest of the story context requires her to be the regular human that she is, right? Because she is adapting to this role and she's had to, like... keep that form in order to maintain her alibi. You wouldn't know that unless they showed her as a Skrull first. So maybe it's purely intentional in the fact that they're like, look, this person's a Skrull, but she has to maintain her human form for the rest of the show because it's cheaper to do it for one shot than it is to do it for the whole rest of the show. They can just have that actor play Nick Fury's wife, whoever she ends up being, as the human, and then spend a little bit of money here and there whenever she needs to transform, you know?
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
But I get it. It is confusing. It is weird. And it's also a cliffhanger, so we won't really know what the true... It's meant to be a cliffhanger,
Yeah, I think that's the mark of a good cliffhanger, when you're sitting here like, why the fuck did this happen?
Yeah. No, yeah.
You know?
It's meant
like,
to be that way.
At first, I'm like, oh, shit, Nick Fury's fucking a Skrull. This shit's awesome. But then I'm sitting there, I'm like...
Wait, but why?
But why? Like, why? Like, because
why is she hiding it? Yeah.
Like, yeah, Nick Fury doesn't strike me as the type of person that's like, okay, like, I'm fucking a Skrull. Okay, you can't not
be a Skrull around.
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to see you as a Skrull around me.
Yeah.
But because it's like that's
see,
in the back of your head. Like, if you're fucking having
if you're
sex
in
with
love
a Skrull,
with someone,
and you're just like,
But
you know in your head like, oh, this person's not a human.
But see, that's the other reason though, where like that logic comes into play for me, which is like, I don't see Nick Fury as somebody who would settle down with some random person. Like, when has there ever been a time in Nick Fury's life where he's had even the opportunity to meet some random woman that we've never seen before in the context of the MCU and be like, I have fallen in love with you and I want to marry you now.
Again, it makes more sense to me. We know very little of Nick Fury in the context of the Marvel. The only time we ever see him is when he's doing shit like with like the Avengers or with like
No,
Spider-Man.
I
right?
agree.
So it's like
I just think
we don't know what he does on his off time.
I just think that because I agree with you in the sense that he wouldn't make a Skrull be a human for himself.
Yeah.
But I think if there's enough for us to garner that understanding, I think there's also enough for us to come to the conclusion that, yeah, this super spy motherfucker who cares about like intelligence above the rest wouldn't settle down with one random human person. It would probably be somebody involved with the cause, more or less.
I can see that.
If we're inferring one thing, I think we can infer the other.
Yeah, that's true.
You know
that's
what I mean?
true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's.
But we'll see. We'll see when episode 3 hits. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm excited. It's only a few days away.
Yeah. How did you feel about Maria Hill just dying at the end of the first? Yeah, you didn't like it?
I'm pretty bummed about it. Like, I think it very much to me has like kind of like the Black Widow effect, right? Like, both Tony Stark and Black Widow died in that movie. Tony's the only one who gets any fucking fanfare about it. Like, yeah, it's kind of sort of made up in the Black Widow movie, whatever. That's fine. But, like, I'm not saying Maria Hill was, like, the biggest, most pivotal character in the Marvel Universe, but she's been around a lot longer.
Since the beginning.
Forever, since the first Avengers. So for her to just get fucking shot out of nowhere by a Skrull and just fucking die, and then just do, like, 30-second to like a minute long clip of them being like, yeah, I'm sorry, you're pissed off at me, Maria Hill's mom, because I didn't protect her, but that's what we can do. She's a hero, blah blah blah. Send her away in a fucking red, white, and blue covered box. I don't like that. I wish there was more. Maybe Marvel doesn't treat Maria Hill to like the same standards that like I got personally attached to her, but I don't think for me that's like a satisfying send off for that character. I think it's pretty lackluster.
See, to me, I think it's fine because, like, again, I think you get attached to her because she is she comes with Nick Fury, right? She's that package deal with Nick Fury. Anytime she's around Nick Fury, anytime Nick Fury's around, like, she's there.
Yeah.
Right? It's not very often, like, you see her alone with someone or you see them, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, sure.
So I think by association you become attached to her because she's just there, you know? Not to say that she's not a great character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love her. I love Colby Smulders. But I think a lot of the love for her comes from the fact that she is attached to that big name character, and it's easy to like you know, like a R2-D2 and like a Luke Skywalker situation, right?
Sure.
Like R2-D2 is fucking great.
Yeah, I'd be fucking pissed if they killed off R2 the way they killed off Maria Hill, though.
Yeah.
That'd be bullshit.
Yeah. But I think it would almost be like a dead giveaway if all of a sudden in this season, like say this happened like episode like 5, right?
I think that's better.
Okay. Like I would think it's better, but if all of a sudden you're getting so much context about Maria Hill and like you're becoming way more attached to her in this season than you were in like
anything else,
it would almost be a dead giveaway of like, okay, like they're making us so attached to her and they're giving so much backstory that she's gonna die, you know?
Okay, so like the thing that I trip out on though is that like Maria Hill from this show alone, we don't have to go with any other context of the MCU. Maria Hill has been fucking holding it down while Fury's been having a elongated panic attack on Saber. So the fact that she's only there for one episode and we get no context as to what she's been doing the last few years while Nick Fury's been dicking around in space, and they use her to what I assumed would be a plot device to engage Fury in some kind of emotional thing, and then he doesn't even really give a fuck. Like, he's sad, kind of, but there's no moment that we've seen where Nick Fury really mourns Maria Hill's death. It's fucking bullshit.
That we haven't seen.
Maybe it happens later. That's fine. If it happens later, I will be more satisfied. But where we are right now, I think it's fucking bullshit. They like off screen for sure. We haven't seen it, but off screen, they have given her much more responsibility of holding down the shield aspect of Earth. She's been holding it down while Fury's been having a fucking midlife crisis.
That we know of, because
we do know that though, because Fury's been on Saber since at least Far From Home, immediately after the blip.
Yeah,
And
but then she was revealed to be a Skrull.
no.
Yeah, right. She was.
Oh,
a Skrull.
in that movie, yeah, sure. But this one obviously is not, because she didn't transform back into a Skrull afterwards. So
Yeah,
this is the
yeah.
real Maria Hill. So, like, yeah, again, I don't know. I feel like it happened off screen, but I'm under the assumption that Hill has been the Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatever is left for the last few years since he dipped off to fucking Saber. Fury comes back down. She immediately fucking dies. After warning him, if you fuck around, somebody else is going to get killed. And then it's her. She fucking feels the repercussions of that. And then there's just nothing. There's nothing. There's like a minute sequence of Fury being like, I'm sorry, Mrs. Maria Hill's mom, that I've never seen before, in the audience perspective.
Yeah.
But she died doing something important. She was serving her world, country, blah, 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 whatever. And it's not fucking mentioned again, as far as we know. You're right. It might come up later, but for right now, I'm kind of bugged. I think it's a little whack.
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree with everything you said, 100%. I think when you look at it, like, I think Maria Hill has gained, like, the character Maria Hill in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think has gained such a cult following that I don't think Marvel intended her to have, you know?
Sure.
I don't think the intention was to have Colby Smulders be this character that everyone, like, is taking an immediate liking to and wants more than what they want to give her, right? Like, so I think that her death is more for the stakes of the show.
That's what I don't like.
Yeah,
that's what I don't like. Is she is no longer she's no longer one of the few strong female characters that has been presented to us in Marvel. She was now a plot device. To serve Nick Fury's story. I don't fucking like that. I think it's lame, man. I think it sucks. Because the other thing too that I will say as a counter to that, Marvel's not fucking stupid. Anybody who gets a cult following, any one of their characters, they got ears to the ground and they understand what's happening. There's no way that over the last 11 fucking years since her appearance in 2012 that they've been deaf to the fact that people like the character of Maria Hill.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, I agree. But it's like, whose death are you also going to throw right there?
You don't have to. Who says that somebody needs to die? Like, because again, it's only
because
a death.
It's the stakes of the show. It's like, Nick Fury is this character up until this point that, like, he can do no wrong, right? Whatever he does, it's like, oh, Nick Fury is the guy that has the answers. And what happens when you get to the point when he doesn't have the answers?
If that's the case, don't kill Talos' wife off screen. Make that be the person who died at the end of the first episode. Because then you create more drama between Talos and Fury that they're trying to fabricate now. I don't think they would have beef, but they fucking do somehow because they, I don't know, fought kind of at the end of the bombing shit or whatever. Like, I don't know. I think it's lazy is all. I think it's a lazy way to kill. And I forget if it was you or Diggs who brought it up, but I remember somebody saying, like, maybe Kobe Smulders just doesn't want to do this anymore.
I think I said that.
Okay, which I get it. That's fine. I understand. Maybe she doesn't give a fuck. So Marvel writers killed her off lazily and she didn't even care. She's like, just get me out of there. I don't give a damn. But personally, as a fan, I think it's a little bit of a whack way for her to go. Unless there is some kind of mourning that happens from Nick Fury post all of the incredible stakes and shit that's happening right now, I think it's going to be a pretty lackluster death for what I think is a pretty major side character over the course of the last 12, 13, 14 years that we've been building for the Marvel Universe. So I'm a little disappointed. I don't know. I wasn't super happy with the way she died, man. I was bummed.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I understand where you're coming from 1000%, and I don't disagree with it, but for my own feeling, I wasn't like,
It doesn't bother you as much.
Yeah, I wasn't like the most upset about it because in the context of the show, it just to me adds more weight from the fact that they killed this character that has such a cult following.
Okay, so
that is like such a big side character.
So that's okay.
know?
So like to make a comic book comparison, this is like the context that I'm going off of, right? Is it's like within the context of the show, I agree with you, right? That's cool, but it's kind of hard to do something within the context of a show when you have the grander Marvel universe at scale. Something that happened recently in the comic books is they fucking killed Kamala Khan in a Spider-Man comic book. They've never interacted before, hardly ever had any duos, team-ups, this, that, whatever it might be. But in order to serve Spider-Man's stakes in this story and everything that was happening, they were like, you know what? Not much is going on with Kamala Khan at the moment. Let's just bring her in and kill her off in this fucking story.
See, to me, that's so much more different than what happened here. Like, Kamala Khan is a main character in her own story.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that would, to me, be like, yeah, if they brought fucking Ant-Man on here and then just killed him off, I'd be like, what the fuck? That doesn't even make sense. But to me, that'd be like, instead of like in the comic, if Kamala Khan, right? Like, I don't know if Ned is a person in that comics right now. That's good ass friends. Like, whoever's like good ass friends with Spider-Man, like, it would make more sense in the context of that comic. To me, that's like,
just because to me, within the context of the MCU, Maria Hill's a bigger character than Kamala Khan. Like she's had more screen time, I think, at this point.
Maybe if you go by,
maybe not in minutes or whatever it is, but like I'm sorry, I can't get around the fact that like Maria Hill is an iconic side character, yes, but an iconic character nonetheless of the MCU. And it's just a little bit sad to me that she got killed off the way that she did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not super satisfied with it. Not to go as far as that, like, every time somebody dies, they need like a Tony Stark level funeral or anything like that. But nobody's talked about it outside the quick little sequence we get where Fury talks to her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Fury, as far as I have been able to tell, doesn't even really seem to be carrying the weight of that death for as close as they have seemed over the last 10 years. I don't see it affecting him. He still seems purely caught up with the Skrull invasion and Rhodey fucking, like, he had more of an emotional, visceral reaction to Rhodey fucking him over than he did Maria Hill fucking dying. And I was like, why? Where's the emotion? Like, when is it coming?
Granted, I also don't think he had the time to like be as emotional for Maria Hill in the moment that he was at, right? Like, yeah. He had Gravik there. He had shit blowing up. He had people going fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. That's not the time to sit there and be like
see, because I thought it was gonna be the train sequence.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was gonna be an emotional release of what happened in the last episode, but it's not. Mm-hmm. It's a reveal so that Talos can tell you, oh yeah, by the way, Nick Fury, I fucking smuggled 1 million Skrulls onto Earth this last year, and it's a breakup of friendship for Talos and Fury. Has nothing to do with fucking Maria Hill.
Yeah, I think maybe that's going to be something that we maybe haven't even like gotten into yet. Maybe it's such like a domino effect of events that happen that don't even give him time to do that.
Process stuff.
You know, it's like he goes from thinking he's going to catch Gravik to shit exploding, Maria dying, fucking Talos bringing him into the fucking car and them going there.
Yeah.
And then he's fucking like talking, like, to me, I think that's the whole point of like him diving deeper into what Talos has told him or not told him is because he's like, what the fuck, bro? Like, this should just happen. Like, how did this happen? Yeah. And like, now he's just got this whole information of like, holy shit, there's a fucking 1 million Skrulls here. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know? So I think maybe that's something that we are going to revisit if
that happens later. Okay, like, that'll be like a good band-aid on the situation for me. But I just, like, right now I'm a little disappointed, that's all. Yeah, so
I see that.
It is. But overall though, I'm still very happy with the show. I'm still very much looking forward to the 3rd episode, and I am excited to see where the rest of the season goes. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Real quick before we wrap up, how do you feel about the AI intro?
I think it's cool. I told you about this. Like, I think in a show that is very much about like another thing besides humans trying to replicate humanity, I think it makes sense. Yeah. If that was their intention in creating an AI intro, cool. I think they were smart about doing that. If they were fucking lazy about it and they were like, fuck it, let's just do this, then, whatever. Maybe that's a little less. But I think it's cool.
Yeah, no, I think that was the intention, just because, like, I don't think it's something that is such, like, an already type of, like, it's a type of artwork already. Yeah. I don't know what the, like, specific title or name for that artwork is, but it's like you can find artwork like that out there already.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's something that they couldn't just be like, oh yeah, here, you guys know how to make art for this, cool, fucking do this. Because like with AI art and stuff like that, when you have an AI that you use to generate artwork,
you still have to like feed it parameters.
You still
have to
give
it guidelines.
Yeah, and you can't just like rip shit off the internet and be like, because that is someone else's work at the end of the day. You're not employing that person, you're not paying that person. So it's like you yourself have to have a team of people that are making the art to feed to the AI, so it has the parameters to create this art at the end of the day. So yeah,
it's cool.
I thought it was pretty dope, and it was weird that like a couple days after the story came out that it was an AI generated artwork, because I was sitting there like,
this looks weird.
This looks this looks funky. Like this looks different from anything else that I've seen from Marvel. You know, like, and I was sitting there like hella liking it too. I was like, damn,
it looks
like,
cool.
This is one of the intros that like the first episode that like I really sat there and was like, damn, because I'm a big skip intro guy.
I'm down for intro.
I don't give a fuck. Skip unless it's the Game of Thrones OG intro.
Sure.
Like I'm skipping the fuck out of that shit.
Yeah.
But this is one where I was watching. I was like, damn, this shit's fucking cool. So I understand the argument behind like AI. People feeling like AI is going to take jobs away from people.
Yeah.
And I think in some aspects that can happen. But I also think you have to look at it from the standpoint of AI can also be a fucking tool for you as well.
Help you do stuff,
Like, in the context of this podcast, like, there's AIs out there that I can drop the fucking video in there, and it's going to fucking edit the video for me, or whatever I want to do. So it's like, there is a lot of nuances to the AI conversation out there. And I think it is important that you, as a listener or a viewer of anything that is AI generated, to do your own research and understand.
Come to your own opinion on what you think is acceptable and what is not.
Because there's a lot of shit out there. There's a podcast that I've listened to called Dudesy, which is a completely AI, like, so the two hosts, Will and Chad. There's Will Sasso and fucking, I don't know, Chad something. They basically gave this AI, Dudesy, access to all of their like personal information, emails, blah blah blah, whatever, social media, everything, and it generates like topics for them on the podcast, right? And one of them was, which I thought was pretty interesting, was it asked them to watch the movie Blade, but synced up with Madonna's first 3 albums.
That's weird.
Because Madonna's first 3 albums sync up perfectly to Blade.
Okay.
In terms of time, and they talked about it. And they're like, "Damn, it was actually pretty fucking
good." Yeah. Okay.
Pretty fucking crazy. So I'd low-key be down to fucking turn on Madonna's first 3 albums.
Why
and
not watch Blade?
But the moral of it is like AI is a tool, and I think this is one of the situations where AI is specifically being used as a tool. And not just like, hey, let's just fucking employ some computers to do some shit that people could do.
It's a quick way or whatever. Yeah, definitely.
Because the company that did this is like an actual company that employs actual people to do shit like that and has done shit like that. But if you guys want a more in-depth conversation about it, Screen Crush's Ryan Airy has a very good video on this where he actually interviews a couple of people within the within the film industry that do a lot of like artwork and stuff like that. So they're like artists that do, fucking animations for a lot of shit, and they go in depth on what they think about it. And I definitely think that is a good conversation for you guys to listen to.
I'll check it out too,
because it's fucking. I think they give a lot of good points about
a lot of insight
on just what AI because I didn't know what the fuck AI companies did, but when they were like, oh yeah, like, no, you actually have to, you actually have to have people that make art. And one of the points that they made is like, so once you feed something into AI and say AI spits something out, like a picture, like that is an artificial picture, like that is not a human made picture, right? So you can't make money off of that shit. Like say I fucking We're just like, oh yeah, hey, look up fucking pictures of Nick Fury and freaking impressionism paintings and like make some artwork out of that, right? And that's not another thing because I didn't edit anything. I didn't touch it at all.
Yeah.
But once the AI spits something out and say, I'm like, all right, cool, this looks nice, but I want to edit this because I don't like how this looks and I don't like how that looks, and you make it how you want to make it, that officially becomes an original artwork, so people can make money off of that. Okay. So again, there is a broader conversation around this. Like we are in the infancy of all this shit, so definitely go do your own research and
see how it shakes out.
Figure out what shit. Yeah, see how it checks out. Yeah. But yeah. Did you have anything else from Secret Invasion? I think you got to go to the bathroom.
I do. Yeah, you see me shaking over here. Yeah. Oh yeah. I might get those points out about the AI, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, guys, that was episode number motherfucking 64.
Yes.
I hope you guys enjoyed. A little different episode.
Yeah. But I like these ones.
Hell yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah, go check us out on Instagram, YouTube, all that motherfucking shit. I'm not going to take the time to do this because my homie has to relieve his bladder over here. So, yeah, guys, this has been your homie Ryan.
This has been your homie Daniel.
And we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.